Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up.
Hot mic, hot mic, hot mic.
Good morning, Magadan Po. Good morning to everybody out there. Welcome back to Philippine Antics. I'm Heidi and this is George. Okay. Yeah. Today, okay, this was just going to be an open live stream and it still is. We're going to open up our video live stream to people. We're going to try to stay within the relevance of what we're talking about. So let's say this moves on to something else later, guys, such we're just talking about life here and different things. Then, you know, we ask our panel guests that come in today that they actually stick to that. And George finds a pot full of honey to drop his little lips into. What'd you do? Choke on your coffee there?
No, I had some chicharron.
There it is. So we have still had an overwhelming response to Mark, okay, expat Mark over in Dramagetti in regards to this situation. As a matter of fact, that Semi has turned on us so much so we've had emails and messages and we're sure there are other channels because other channels have been making the exact statements. And then they come in and make the same statements on our channel. So like they're saying it and they're saying verbatim as me and George were talking about this morning. It's coming out, it's like bleeding out into their comments and under what we call false names. But you know what? We welcome everybody except for a few people. They know who they are. But I'm doing a call out to Andy Omar,
Hey, Andy.
okay? Because great for him. He came up with a photo. Also, MYK, of course, you're welcome to the live stream. And anybody else that would like to discuss Mark Thornton of Everyman has a story. He has put his own video out for a recap for people, where he has actually got into a fight with another expat, calling him outside. Looks like there's a little bit more light on the story. It looks like the photo Andy Omar put up today shows he literally was holding the door open. It appeared to me, it looked like he was calling him outside versus them just going out together. But either way, Mark has hit this guy, admitted he's done it. The video is still up, but we have a photo today. And man, what a photo. So, like I said, we'd like to give credit to Andy Omar for that. And then, of course, MYK. the views that come on here are just that kind of like the view. We can't say which way something's going to go. We put all comments up usually, unless you're directly attacking somebody, like referencing to another person in our room, another vlogger. So I wanted to make that clear that just because one of you guys say something and we put it up, it doesn't mean that is our view. And
Right. It does not reflect our views or opinion.
and if it's in within guidelines, we're going to put that up too.
And
So
somehow yesterday, actually, there was a period, if you guys noticed, there was a period where the comments were scrolling through
mhm.
without me acknowledging, because we had a guest and there was a ton of, so they were just scrolling right through. And be aware,
They
it
do.
doesn't mean that it's up on the screen, we acknowledge it. However, there are some statements that I would verbally repeat, but
Yeah,
not verbatim, because again,
there's a limit. Like if somebody puts up a comment, I'm going to put, for example, that Mark's dog jumped on top of him and screwed him in the eye. Maybe I mean, there's kind of a limit to what.
freedom of speech has limits, yes.
Yeah, there is some limits, but I guess somebody got really offended because somebody said that his wife's baby might belong to somebody else, and the comment got put up. Okay, well, that's not our view. And I think it came from another channel because, like I said, the channel had mentioned he had shut his own comments off. But then he turned it back on, and then verbatim, he went through the exact speech of it. So it kind of looked kind of sus that he would state that in his own videos and then come through and question ours.
Plus, be aware that unbiased means everything goes up, even if we don't agree with what the commenter says. Bias means we omit certain things that don't align with our viewpoints.
Right.
A lot of people don't understand this, and unfortunately, we put up things even I don't believe in.
Yep, that's true. And there's a lot of things I don't like that George says. And there's a lot of things he doesn't like that I say. And it kind of just goes like all around. So we definitely want to hear from you guys today. We've always wanted to hear from you. I mean, like I said, there's kind of limits to that, right? And at the end of the day, we will always say it is our channel. Okay. We are the only channel in the Philippines that is a Filipino husband, expat wife. We're living here and doing live streams in a channel of our sort. Yes, there's a lot of Phil-Am couples. 98% or 99% are actually a Filipino wife and an expat, an older expat husband. And let's just be truthful where those channels are. It's their life and whatever. Ours is a little different. You get both perspectives, and we both appear on these live streams when we name it something. So, hey, what's up, guys? Also, like I said, it's a big shout out to Andy Omar, a big shout out to MYK, and a lot of people have been covering this. Okay, a lot. What we want to do is hear some people's perspective, and a lot of the messages and emails coming in. Everybody has us pinned that we're all against Mark Thornton and we're against Critter Hunter and all that. And I want to do something here right now. I couldn't find his account. We got a message yesterday from Critter Hunter. Okay. And I'm going to do a shout out for him because he came through and said that if he actually offered a full apology to me, George seen the message yesterday, and he said that if he had offended me in any way, because I said the only thing that I knew about him is that at one point during another confrontation last year, he had mentioned me and it wasn't in a good light. And he was saying, "Oh, come on over here. We'll defend you." But I don't think he realizes what it was over. But he did offer a full apology that he didn't mean any of it. And the message didn't go through. So I don't know if it was our internet or what was going on. But I do want to say that, we appreciate him stepping forward and saying that he didn't mean anything about anything. And the same here, because we already did a shout out over Critter Hunter. We don't know what's going on in his life. Other people don't know. We keep hearing negative against him and his business. We're hearing what Mark's saying. We're hearing what other channels are saying. There are so many people that are on the fence, and that's where we are, because people keep saying, "Oh, well, you don't sound biased because you keep saying things about this person." And you keep, we laugh about it. It's drama. It's entertainment. It's, I mean, how many times are you going to see The View or CNN? And I use these as examples where they cover a topic. You're going to see a whole 3-4 people that are, in the broadcast that are actually either snickering or laughing and all that, or they're talking about, doesn't mean that we're.
Well, what I'm saying, what Heidi's
It's
saying
still a
is
show,
when
guys.
Candace Owens puts out a topic,
Or Roseanne
or
Barr,
Roseanne Barr, or anybody who says anything political, do you guys actually attack them for being biased? Some of you do.
Yeah, some of you
but
do, because you get,
that's the
everybody, like the Taylor Swift thing. I'm just going to get you all going. Taylor Swift. How many people are blaming her for this and blaming that? And she got too much attention. She didn't get enough
to
attention.
the point that she rigged the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. That's
I
all we've
mean-
been hearing. Guys, it's just the way it's going to be. We want to hear from you. This is like the old-fashioned radio stations. You all remember when they used to come on and say, hey, come make your request, make your request. We really do care to hear your opinions, okay? If you want to come on and dispute and talk about George's ears and his hair and that he looks sad all the time and all these things, we welcome you to come in and we can have an adult conversation. That's what we want. I think there was a troll that attempted to come in yesterday screaming things to Mike and all that. That you're going to get. It's not blocked, by the way. If we omit you from the channel, you can watch. We're not blocking anybody from seeing the views, but your view will not be put up at that point when you're disturbing the actual room. That's it. We really don't per se block people. We just keep them from being, from commenting for good reason. And it's our channel. That's for the good reason. So, we do welcome all of our members. I see our moderator Ted is in the house. We have California Bear, Mark Goldberg. Good morning.
Hey, Mark.
Are you staying warm there, Mark?
California.
Traveling hobos and house focus in Asia. We'd like for you guys to come on. Now give us a minute while the room is warming up. But there is a lot that's coming out on Mark.
An A spatula.
Okay, and I want AA spatula. I'd like to hear from you too. Here's the thing. At the end of the day, we had somebody that came in about what was the statement about the war and everything. I'll have to find the comment, but he said basically, I'll have to find the comment, but violence is never the answer. Okay, it's never the answer. Now, if somebody's attacking you and you have to defend yourself, that's something different. But Mark, on his own channel, in his own words, and the video is still up, he actually had punched this gentleman. Okay, now we have a photo. That's uncalled for. Looks like he tried to gouge his eyes out. To me, it looked like he whooped the tar out of him. And he went to the police, and as I'm to understand also, he also went to the medical. It looks like he has intention to actually go all the way through with, filing charges. And I will stick by my statement yesterday that he could lose his channel. He could end up in jail. He could be deported or blacklisted. And at this point, he might, or allegedly, possibly may not even be able to get out of the country without an issue. And if he does, and they release him, okay, because when this goes into the system, they could stop an exit clearance on him, which means they will hold him here until things are settled.
Or deny his renewal of whatever visa he has.
I think he said he had a 13A. So that there's no renewal on that unless he's on a temporary, and that's a possibility. I want to let you guys know that I have not watched every Mark Thornton video. I have not watched all the Andy Omar footage. I have not watched fully MYK's statement. Everybody has a view on that, okay? But I'm going to tell you what's going to happen is exactly what we're saying. All of these are a possibility, and today we have a photo, and we've had hundreds more emails, 100 more comments, and it's just kind of out there, and it's like way out there on some of the statements. It's funny, on Mark Thornton's videos, everybody's pro, yeah, way to go, man, way to go, boy, attaboy. And I'm like, where's all the people that are on our channel that's got both opinions?
Well, I mean,
it's crazy.
In all fairness, honestly, I think the comments were edited. I mean, there's no such thing as one-sided. I'm saying if you go into a channel and all you see are positives,
yeah,
there's something wrong with that channel. Meaning they're editing out the bad comments. And what I'm getting at, you'll always get, regardless of popular view, meaning that I'm not just talking about here. For example, the Super Bowl. If you post something about the Super Bowl and why Kansas City deserved to win, okay, you're always going to have a few people that say, "Oh no, they didn't. They did this wrong." Kind of like, remember the point when they said, "Oh, they deflated the ball," or "No, the ball was fine." The point being is, there's always going to be a negative connotation to anything, whether it's factual or not. Somebody's going to say something, and that's where I'm getting at. If you see a channel, they're all pro. It doesn't matter who it is, whether pro Mark, pro Heidi, pro George. It doesn't matter. If they're all pros, then that's not everybody's opinion.
Yeah, and then you'll see some that are just really totally biased. And I'll give you an example a few months ago, and I still was just talking to George about this other day. They actually put our stats up and then they put us in a community post where they were super biased. Like, what do you think's the best live streamers in Angel City? And then which ones do you think the worst?
Well,
Well, of course, we came up as the worst, but they actually thought they'd come back through and put us in the best or something.
well,
And it was the weirdest poll I had ever seen.
well. Also another, in our fairness to us, be aware that we did take a big sabbatical, which means it drops our numbers down, and we have to work them back up.
Yeah, but it was just funny. They said, "What do you think's the worst?" But they didn't put
And be
bad
aware
channels
that's
in there.
also feeding.
And they fed us first.
Feeding the what's that? You said it yesterday. It's a loaded question.
Mhm.
It's
So
not.
we were
It's not an
listed
unbiased
first.
question.
And he didn't even list bad channels
Or
or ones
poll.
that really he thinks are bad channels. He put us first, and then he waited a few days and thought about it, and then put us in. What do you think's the best? Well, which do you think came up exactly 50% on each? It was us, and I was like, well, that's kind of weird. But I'm going to do another shout out to Andy Omar and MYK to actually see if they want to join this live stream. I can't find an email for Andy Omar, but I did just put a comment on his recent video that he is more than welcome to come in, and he is the one. I don't know if that's where MYK got his photo, but he did a shout out to Andy Omar for coming up with the photo. It appears to be CC TV screenshot, and Mark is holding the door open. Now, again, that's on Andy Omar's channel. But it appears this all went down on the 6th of this month. That's the what comes up on the date and everything else. So that's pretty much what I got. Critter Hunter coming in said that he didn't mean to. He doesn't even remember, and he probably doesn't. It's a year and a half ago. And basically, in that light, he had said something about
Not to
I
mention, it was a comment made on another channel, which
got pinned and everything.
yeah,
And I don't think he remembered.
It's
But
kind of like a. Now, first off, it was fact checked and everything else. I remember the incident because there's a bunch of other stuff that happened, included that. He's just more some of those, what would you call, active bystanders per se. If there's a crowd saying, "Hey, down with the man, down with the man," he's not the one yelling "down with the man," but he's in the background yelling "down with the man, down with the man."
that's pretty much what he
No,
was
no,
doing.
really. I mean,
And it was probably for good reason, because the more I thought about it, I went and looked at it. It actually was where he said a big American expat attacked my tiny wife. And so I think that's why he got on board, and he was like, "Oh, I know who that is." And he talked about my size, and he says, "I got your back over here." And it was his channel. And I'm like, wow, he got on board and blah, 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 blah. And so, but we still talk fondly of Critter Hunter Republic. I don't have a problem. George doesn't have a problem with any of the vloggers here per se. We've met with several of them, and we are the people that we perceive. As a matter of fact, surprisingly, people find me to be even nicer in person. So just understand the personas that are being put out by other channels aren't really who they actually are. A lot of them are just like they gossip a lot. A lot of them come in and do nothing but drama. They come in about Filipinos all the time, or Filipinas, or they come in about other facts of Angel City and Walking Street and bar life and rich life and all that. And that's what today's live stream is technically about, is live your life, stay in your lane situation, because there's a lot of people that tell you how much money to spend, how much money not to spend, and all that. You got Mark Thornton, Everyman has a story here in the Philippines, that does a bunch of interviews. And now he's kind of bumped off the subject and he's just doing interviews again. And he hasn't addressed it again, except for the message that he sent us saying he wouldn't join the live stream. And I think another channel also addressed that yeah, if it doesn't benefit him, he's not going to join us. So we always appreciate when other channels come in, because if you guys invite us in there, then we will come in and talk to you guys. We go in on smaller channels all the time. We go in on bigger channels all the time. We watch other channels. We're not even going to hide that. So why we're actually Mark can interview himself, right? He probably should, but I'm going to stick to my words because several people come in on our comments. I'll let your girl in there. Has went in on our comments, and they've actually stated that, oh, he's not going to jail. He can just pay somebody off there. I've heard that about 10 times recently in the last 48 hours. And I'm like, okay. A lot of people think they can come here and just buy somebody, whether it's a woman, whether it's a girlfriend, whether it's a wife, whether it's police. Just because you hear somebody say that they're able to hand over 500 pesos and get out a speeding ticket, that's not the same as what Mark's looking at right now. So, and I'll also cover the few nasty emails that we got that it was none of our business. So, it wasn't his business to interview all the people that he has and all the extras that he put out or didn't omit, and some of the things that he's actually done, or any other vlogger or any other news station or newspaper. Wasn't their business anyways, but evidently it's everybody's business. So it's just what we're going to do. We did expat help forever. We still do expat help. We show you our lives here in the Philippines, and hands down, this type of subject actually sells. So it's not a it's like all that, what's that is that called dirty laundry that's done by the Eagles or something?
And before my time.
Oh goodness. So dirty laundry. Talking about, and that's what he's talking about. Everybody wants to hear this. Everybody wants to hear that. Just like our hearts go out to the situation that just happened in Kansas City. I lived in Kansas City, okay, and I lived in Missouri for a while, and that is where Truman Neurological Center is, where I actually was a neurological nurse back in the 90s. Okay, I'm not licensed now. We had a few people that tried to call me out on that. And it's like, well, good luck on that one. It was in the 90s. I'm not saying I'm licensed now, guys. And I lived there for many, many years. Okay. So I used to watch the Kansas City Chiefs. I've been to some games. Great team. But there was active incident that happened yesterday. I don't want to say the word, where it's very sad and heartbreaking. But here's the thing, millions of views on it, millions and millions. Everybody's all up in that stuff. It's just the way the system goes. So we will be waiting for people to come in.
Yeah, and guys, in all fairness, again, because this is part of the issue somehow, not really an issue.
Oh, we
but
got, looks like we got a few new members. Oh, thank you. Check it out. Manny C gifted some memberships.
Thank you so much, Manny C.
Thank you. So we have Bruce Davis, Don, Dominique, Tim Husk, members. Manny C, thank you so much. Hey, James Marshall Hendricks is in the house. James said I hate pop music. I love AC/DC. Not a bad band.
Right.
Dirty deeds and the done the cheap. Hey, that's what people think old Mark Thornton's going to do when he gets this thing, but it's not going to happen. What do you think of that when somebody says they're going to pay somebody off here?
Okay,
as
yeah,
a Filipino.
I was trying to get there.
Sorry.
Now, there's two things, first off, I need to talk about, which is, guys and women, be aware, don't compare this incident with the Castle Doctrine. Castle Doctrine means, remember that this is a U.S., guys. Again, I'm not talking about any other country. Castle Doctrine means your castle, your home is your castle. It's called self-defense. If somebody breaks into your house in the U.S., you can do whatever you want with them. Don't compare that to this incident, because one, has nothing to do with anybody being at home. This is a private but public area at the same time. Okay,
Right.
Don't compare that. Same thing with the Castle Doctrine. I mean, again, your home is your castle. Don't compare this with defense, national defense, because somebody said, "Oh well, violence is a solution to defense of your country." Yeah, you're right. If they're defending their country or their home, I get it. But this is not a house. This is not a home. This is in a public slash private area. I say public because it's called public access, but it's on private property. Okay.
Right.
But don't don't even think of comparing that. I mean, because dude, if you're comparing that, there's something wrong.
Yeah, here's the statement that I was talking about. It says violence. This came from a commenter. He said violence does suit a purpose. That is why countries have armies.
Not applicable.
Okay. If you come from a tough area, then you would know violence is used. Well, I do. And I believe, I mean, George knows that I had no problem walking through New York City in Central Park, okay, at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. So I'm like that. But I wouldn't apply that here in the Philippines because Mark's applied it and now he could lose everything. His YouTube channel, his family, his wife, she could leave maybe for some reason. I'm not saying she will. I'm just saying what might or could happen. He could end up in jail. He could be, there's a lot of things that could happen. That doesn't apply here when you're in someone else's country.
Well, a lot of people don't realize how the laws go against you in, I hate to say this, in the US. Again, like-minded people flock together. Again, I was a fighter and my friends were fighters. True story. One time somebody some robber jumped my friend, okay, and he had a gun and pointed the gun at him or whatever weapon, and that happened to me too. But the only reason why I backed down because there was two of them with similar weapons, and one of them was far away from striking distance, which means they would have taken me down with these, ranged weapons. So you have to be smart too. So anyway, there was only one attacker. This really happened. So he grabbed it, snatched it, grabbed the weapon, and attacked the robber with his own weapon, ranged weapon. Okay.
Yeah.
Guess what? Guess who got in trouble? Not the robber, my friend.
Yeah.
Because technically, by law, he was attacking an unarmed individual because he disarmed him. Point being, even to the extent that, oh well, you grew up if you didn't grow up in a bad area or rough area, you wouldn't know. No, I know that always the law will side on whoever they feel, not necessarily what's right, but what they feel should be done. You guys, anybody in the U.S. would know what I'm talking about. So that's kind of puts it in the valid part again. Like, I don't care where you grew up in.
It kind of blew my mind this morning. I'm like, people just don't get it
No.
that when you're 13, 14,000 miles away from home, you're beyond a guest. Even if you get, I mean, I don't care what documents, how much money you have, how much he does or doesn't have, you can't do it. And it sounds like he 100% just totally.
Yeah.
I get there. A lot of people on his channel and other channels keep saying things about that might be the landlord finally.
Right.
Rent,
And
George.
well, hold on. Let me finish again on the bribery thing, or rather, buying somebody. Be aware, it's not a traffic stop. It's not a one-sided incident. You get my point? What I'm getting at, it doesn't matter what country you're in. If it's a traffic stop or something like that, fine. You can purchase your freedom, so to speak. But be aware there's two individuals. Now it's going to turn into a bidding war, if that makes any sense. Just to clarify, it's not as cut and dry most people think it is.
Yes, it's the landlord. He was supposed to be here a couple days ago. It's in the backpack. Take the backpack with you, George. In the backpack.
No, I know.
Okay. So in regards back to that, in regards to the situation that with him being in another country, now there are requirements. A lot of people don't realize you can't enter or exit this country without some sort of permission once you're here for a while. Anything beyond 6 months, you need like these documents to get in, out, and all of that. And there are requirements, but there are some countries you need it just to exit. And this is one of them for sure. I don't know if that's changed with other countries, but officially you need it here in the Philippines. So if I'm going to leave, you have to get a clearance. And every time I go in to renew my visa right now till I complete my 13A, I have to, they kind of clear me every few months. It's every 2 months here for me in Angel City. And so he'll need that too. I don't think he thought about any of that. And people are like, man, I'd have done that too. And I did, they're like agreeing with Mark about what's going on. And then you hear the other statements about he was heckled or whatever. And this has been going on for so long, so nobody knows the story. I don't care if it's been going on for 4 or 5 years. Unless his family was on the line, you just can't use that as an excuse, is what I would actually, it's just not good, guys. So there's the statements that I've actually heard have been unreal on our channel, reading the comments on other channels in regards to this. And every small channel from 300-400 viewerships to, all the way up to 40 and 50,000 have made statements on this that's been going on. And a lot of them will flat out say, I'm for Mark, and I don't like what Mark did, or, they, each of them have some sort of personal view on it. And I think it's just kind of crazy on that. So, let me go through and answer some of these questions. Yeah, I don't know why the landlord, why isn't that moving? That's weird. I'm going to go in and address because I can't get this to actually work. I don't know why it's not moving. There it is. It's moving now. Someone should open up a boxing gym to let them air it out. They do have a lot of gyms that do actually have that, so that would actually make sense on that. Yeah, I can't control this. He's got the remote over there. So I'm just going to go through and address a few things. He'll probably go back through and do it. But thank you so much for gifting those memberships. We do have membership through Philippine Antics. Tim Huskbill, thank you. He said Manny um, for the memberships. Summer Thornton, my dad used to wear my mother's clothes. Okay, so if you'd asked me a year ago in our live streams if that would have came up, you guys see me like blow a fuse, and I'm like, I'm not going to have somebody up in there talking about a vlogger or whatever. We're aware that that's semi trollish, but we'll put the comments up. I mean, it's just where it's at. But it's funny. We've heard that. We've actually heard that. Kay Dallas, good morning. I was just talking about the trollish ways. Somebody's calling themselves Summer Thornton, and they said my dad used to wear clothes. So I'm assuming this other vlogger will get highly offended and come back in and make a comment later that we're talking about Mark Thornton in a direct way. Wait, unless it actually totally violates it. You know what I told George this morning is these are the best 3 live streams we've had. And no, it shouldn't have had to come down to that, but we should have stuck to our guns and covered stuff that we wanted to cover instead of covering side things. It's like not everybody's going to stay on board with us if we just cover expat help, or if we just cover things about Filipinas or Filipinos, or just do travel about us. And we used to do more of that side. Now we're just going to cover what's relevant, and we want to give people a voice.
Well, technically, still relevant to the channel because this is
Stay
both
out of
sides.
jail.
Well, stuff you shouldn't not do.
And here's the thing. I still feel some of this is also relevant, just like when we were talking about the Campbell channel. There was a lot relevant to our channel because I'm in a wheelchair part-time. I'm disabled. I'm married to a Filipino, and the things that were going on was just relevant to living here in the Philippines. Okay, now whether others do dealing with the Mark Thornton thing, I have some relevancy a little towards the situation because I was in trouble myself a year ago. Okay, those that have been with us long term know what that was all about. It was about a bigger channel saying that I said things about his wife. It kind of went around, and then in the end, I apologized right away and cleared this up. I didn't even hesitate. Okay. Um, but that's why there's some relevancy for us. But here's the thing, at the end of the day, he just put everything online, and his money, he doesn't have that kind of money to buy his way out of
And the
this.
thing is, again, I've told everybody this, honestly. Anybody, Heidi will tell you, I tell this to everybody. It doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what Heidi says. It doesn't matter what you think. Point being is, at the end of the day, it's what the law feels should be done.
And so they can just take over altogether. There may not even be a chance, but everybody's like, well, he'll have to go do this and they'll have to go through the barangay and they'll have to. No, guys, I don't think it's going to get
No,
down to
no,
that.
well, no, you can bypass the barangay again. I'm not stepping on anybody's foot. You can, again, if somebody takes you to the barangay, you're lucky because that means they're looking for a more amicable solution. But
And Mark doesn't, as I'm to understand, doesn't have a ton of money, or he would have never financed a car. That'll just tell you there's different levels of money, and both me and George have seen it. Mark Thornton, if he had to finance that car, that means he doesn't have money.
yeah,
We're not claiming to have money either. We would have to finance too. We get it. So what are they going to sue? Sue for what? I mean, it's not going to get down to that. I think it'll just get down to the other points that we said. He could lose a channel. He could be, blacklisted from the country. He could. It's at a different level. That is for sure.
right. And keyword, I'm really good with usually what I say. For example, I just said what the law feels. I didn't say what the law should or should not do. It's what the law feels at that time. The problem is, like I said, it's not about right or wrong. It's not about my opinion, your opinion, their opinion. It's what the law feels at that point in time. And unfortunately, that's society we live in. And that's something everybody has to accept. And that's something I, or rather this channel, been trying to impart on you guys. You know what I'm saying? Again, some of you are pro this guy, anti this guy, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? We're just telling you what the probabilities are. Ted Jenkins. Now, actually, Ted Jenkins has a point here. Someone should open up a boxing and should let the air out.
Let me check into that, Ted. That is weird. Ted said it's showing that he's not. That doesn't make any sense. That he doesn't have any abilities.
Now, that being said, actually, this is actually a good point. Meaning, a lot of people don't find healthy hobbies. They basically just coop themselves in a box and just fester in their own, not literal filth, but in their own, mental filth, meaning they don't air out they're full of anxiety, hatred, and whatever. And yeah, boxing gym would help it out. Yeah, I mean, they put out that aggression on that punching bag, or a sparring partner. I mean, I have sparred with my instructors, and sometimes they're really hard on me, like injury hard. And I'm like, maybe they're just having problems in their life because they're putting out that aggression. You know what I'm saying?
I about every 3-4 days. That's what I do to George. I corner him in the kitchen.
All right, it's cage match. California Bear 6198 California Bear. Good morning.
Good morning, Jim Alvear.
Jim Alvear says, "Wake up, wake up! Today's gonna be a good day." Right, another nightmare from Mark. Right there you go. Ugh. Hey, Bisayan Kano. Wow.
It happens. And I think a few of the other channels have it right. This is the most toxic YouTube community and expat community that I've been in. And I've been in a lot of places. I've been in Canada, Mexico, Europe, the Middle East. And I just haven't seen it like I've seen here. I told George, it's no joke when I keep making statements like about me feeling semi alone here as far as a female expat, because a lot of it, I was just telling George, is guys that are here and guys marrying these women and all these statements they make. It just seems like a lot of, is it progesterone or what is testosterone?
Well, that's a misconception, though.
Oh, is it? So whatever it is, they're like beating on their chest. There's a lot of the expats here beating on their chest, attacking each other. I could only envision and close my eyes and see that what could have transpired that day, and just because there's been heckling going on, and it doesn't mean, and remember, there's a lot of trolls that'll throw extra stuff in there that ain't even real. So you got to take everything with a grain of salt.
Yes,
like literally, because we learned a long time ago that in the YouTube world and in the expat world, there are people that'll create an account and pretend to be other accounts and start with you. And it's like the first time we didn't catch on to it because we were like fairly new in our first year or so. of being here in the Philippines. And not because we were in the Philippines, I'm talking about like YouTube, because they'll watch the other channel and use their words verbatim, and then you actually think, because they said that in their live streams or whatever, you think it's them really making those statements. But we've been on to that for a while. So when we get those weird emails, we just delete them. It's just kind of weird. There's just a lot going on here.
Yeah. Now, just real quick, only because Heidi brought up testosterone, because somebody also said it in the comments too. Testosterone supplements do not make you aggressive. Basic case scenario, or worst case scenario, rather. Worst case scenario. It's like worst case scenario, if you kind of did a lot of testosterone that day, worst case scenario, it's the equivalent of drinking Red Bull, which means, does that necessarily make you aggressive? Not really. Not really. Definitely not enough to excuse you from court to, assaulting somebody. Definitely not. So it's kind of like one of those, well, I get it, but does drinking coffee make you aggressive? Then you probably, you get my
Yeah,
picture.
see,
It's not what you think. It's
that's
not
a glitch.
roids.
Look, the
What's that?
moderators are all missing. That's a YouTube glitch.
Okay, so
That's
there
a
you go.
YouTube glitch. So yeah, I'll get the ones in there. That is really weird.
Right.
It does happen, guys. YouTube has some weird stuff that happens.
Yeah, so get that testosterone thing out of your head. And for those of you who disagree with me, I'm a science guy. Trust me. I don't know everything, but I know the basic basis of a lot of things. If you're going to argue with anybody, any scientist with testosterone, then explain why there's aggressive women in prison.
Well, yeah, don't go nerd
No,
alert
no.
on
I
me.
know that, but
You-
they bring that up because one of the gentlemen is taking testosterone supplements. I get it. I know where you're coming from. However,
It can happen to anybody. And I would like to also state that I believe it's true also, that Mike was discussing, and we've had this discussion before. Mental illness is a real thing. And although a lot of people won't admit it, and it's like a shaming situation, like here in Asia, they don't talk a lot about it. And beings like people from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, they didn't used to talk about it, but everybody's got something going on. I ain't even kidding. I already admit to my high anxiety. I already admitted to mood swings and everything because of my illness and because of me being in, menopause
well,
and all that
medication.
medication that I'm on. So a lot of things will cause it. Okay, so maybe I have a form of mental illness and I've admitted to that.
And the
But
common
there are a lot of expats that are coming here with a lot of, say it again,
PTSD.
PTSD. I always say it wrong. Whether it's from the wars or other things that have happened in their lives. There are people with depression, um, bipolar. There's so many things, and they think they'll come here and get their medication, and a lot of them quit medications.
Correct.
A lot of you guys are quitting your medication. Bad idea. If you plan to come here and you have issues, all right, there's no shame in the game on that situation. Find the medication here and make sure it's here, or you adjust the things that you would actually take that is available here, because mental health is not a big thing here, guys. It just isn't. So you would have to find things. You have to go to big hospitals. You've got Clark Medical Center here. You have to find the clinics that can actually help you with your medical conditions, because I think that is really a
Right.
big situation going on here.
Now, just Heidi brought a good point, because somebody also said it in our last live that, is it possible it's dementia, because dementia does cause aggression.
I talked about that the
correct.
first day.
Now, as far as any pre-existing conditions, as far as mental disorders on neither party, we don't know. We really don't know what's going on in their heads, in their lives. We don't. For
Mhm.
example, we don't know their financial situation too, because if you can be a really nice guy, but when you have some really serious financial difficulties, most people tend to go off the rocks. You know what I mean? The rocker. You know what I'm saying? So be aware. Our heart pours out for both parties. Be honest with you, because I'm pretty sure in the end, it's not going to turn out well for neither of them.
Visayan Cano further down said, "Is there a CCTV footage?" There is. Okay, evidently that's where the snapshots that have come from the other two channels that we've seen today that have it. If they had it, they would have released the videos. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Okay, so right now I have scoured for the last couple days looking for footage. Okay, I don't see it, and we are not privy to any of that. So I've checked Facebook, but I'm not in a lot of those forums where this stuff is put out. I don't know Dexter's last name, so it's a little harder for me. But right now we're just coming, like I told George, we weren't really going to put all this up, and then I thought, no, there are still people interested, and a lot of people don't watch Andy Omar. A lot of people aren't watching MYK, so it's it's a shout out to both channels. They shout us out, or at least one of them do, and they'll go on another channel and say things about that. I welcome Andy Omar to come in here and say what he's got to say, because I'm sure there's some things, because I've seen him actually make a statement on another channel that we blocked him and all that. And I just double checked. He's not actually, whatever. I think he went on the other channel, and he goes in all the channels. So he's open on that. But in the past, he has been in other channels where he has mentioned both of us in a wild light. But that's what he does. Okay. He likes to be, I'm not going to build our channel based on calling somebody that looks like a certain animal or a certain size, or where were some of the references. He kind of was out there, Andy Omar, but we still welcome him to the channel to come in and talk about this today. But he had that photo today, and it just took me back. I mean, I kind of figured the guy would look in bad shape, but the photo is of Dexter, the guy that Mark Thornton got in a fight with, and evidently it was leaked somewhere. That appears to be in a police station. The background looks like a police station initially. You have the photo there, George. George is going to bring the actual.
Oh, why does it do that? Hold on.
He's trying to grab that here, and I'm trying to put our moderators back
It keeps
together.
putting up the. Yeah, see, it puts up the cat photo. It's like a little Google glitch of a sort.
You didn't download it into the drive. You have to.
I did, but why would I download the cat photo twice? It's like a glitch of a
It's kind of
sort.
hard. It's hard saying there. Guys, consider, if you guys want to let us know how you feel, whether you think Mark, had the right to get into a fight. Would you have done? What would you have done? That is really wild. I can't get anything in here, babe. Okay, we can't have dead air, but
Well,
I mean, I can't put
you
our
want me to put
moderators
something
in.
up, but obviously it was
Well,
a
it should have
glitch.
been ready to begin with. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, you know what? Again, it's not me, it's the system.
Okay.
And like I said, it needs to be converted. It's not just like that.
This is really weird. Hey, Sarah. Good morning.
There's a minor
Sarah.
glitch some of you may or may not encounter. Odds are no. But sometimes when you upload something, it uploads the wrong
Okay, so
file.
MYK is in the house.
All right. Now, okay. So here he is. Now, what you're seeing is basically like lacerations to the cheek and the bridge of his nose, which is obviously the first things. That tells you that Mark Thornton is right-handed because the major impact areas are on the left-hand side of his face. So that means he's right-handed. Now, the eyes. Now, the eyes would be from the alleged keyword alleged, because again, we know what he said, both of them, okay? But we weren't there. Now, the gouging of the eyes. Now, what happens is whenever the eye gets an impact, I've gotten these eyes before. Again, fighters get these eyes a lot, so they're very familiar with it. It's usually the blood vessels bursting in your eyeballs, and that's what causes this. In fact, one of our friends, not in a fight, but had the exact same injury right now, but because these are sensitive areas. The issue I have here, again, it's first off, I'm sorry to hear that Dexter's injured. Nobody deserves to be hurt, period.
Yeah, it doesn't matter
Okay.
how many words came out of his mouth. That is for sure.
And second off, gouging eyes, I think that's a little extreme. And what I mean by that is, again, in a fighting point of view, Okay. Unless you're dirty fighting, meaning you're fighting for your life, which at this point it's not. Okay. There is no need for this. There's such a thing as honorable fighting. I mean, I get it. It's a quote unquote street fight, but not really, because this is not, again, their Mark isn't getting held at, weapon point, so to speak. Um, he wasn't. You get my picture. His life was not in jeopardy, regardless of what he says. I mean, he can say stuff that's horrible unless he says, I have this in my pocket. I'm gonna bleep you. That. But even then, it's questionable until such device is drawn. You know what I'm saying? Because anybody can say that, or But yeah, that's what you're looking at again. You have, lacerations on cheek, on the bridge of the nose, on the left hand side, which tells me again that Mark Thorne is a right handed guy. And again, now does it impair his vision? No. I mean, he's probably in pain, but I don't think he's,
It's not life threatening.
it's not life threatening. Now, we don't know Dexter's conditions either. What I'm saying is, for example, does the attack on the eyes may or may not cause permanent damage? May not, we don't know, because it depends on the person. Like, I have a friend that if you punch him in the eye, his lenses pop off. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, his pupils, the lens in his eyes pop off. We don't know what Dexter's medical conditions are. So what I'm saying is, we don't know the severity level of permanent or non-permanent damage thereof. Okay. And that's what we're looking at right here. Now, keep in mind, this is all we know right now, meaning, are there other, like, bruises or anything like that? It's possible. You know what I'm saying? It's not impossible, but it's possible there's more damage than what we're showing you right now. And be also aware that, again, it's not something that if I were Dexter, I'd show my cards right away. If that makes any sense. You know what I mean?
There's actually a Scott expat in the Philippines.
Well,
There it is.
I mean,
Scoot Hicks.
No, it's Hikesel Scoot. Hikesel Scoot. Booch T, what's up, guys? Just Fact says, what's up, guys? Now, hey, Mark Goldberg. Mark Goldberg says, hi to George. Boots on the ground. Mark Thorin, boots on your face. There you go.
Yes. Snap,
True
man.
story.
Yeah. So okay. So the two moderators, Ted, you were added back in there, and Scott in the World as I See It placed you back in there.
Well, I kind of questioned it, but I wasn't sure because normally they have a ranch on the side.
Then yeah, see, I haven't. Usually, I
But
notice those things, but I haven't. Yeah.
well, the thing is, there's so many updates. You don't know if they got rid of the ranch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so they could just be hiding in the background, but
Right.
usually
So
people, yeah. So we just don't throw everybody in there. So I notice some channels have like 9
some
moderators,
channels do
even
tend to
with
make
50
everybody
or
a moderator.
60.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah. I'm a moderator. You're a moderator. Everybody becomes a moderator.
yeah, I guess.
Traveling Ho says, guess is a modern version of Jerry Springer show. Thad says, good day, Heidi, George. Hope there's
Hey.
peace in the teepee for all involved. There you go. I like that.
Yeah, well, that would be a great wish, which may not be what everybody wants to hear. I would hope that everything would blow over. I mean, you guys are talking to someone here that I see like 10 different sides of what could go wrong with Mark's life right now. And then you have George, it's like, we'll pray for him and, everything will just smooth over. No, I'm going to actually put it out there. We have two different perspectives on how this could actually go, but one thing that the entire room should be agreeing on is that violent punch that it came down to shouldn't have happened with a man that is about ready to have a baby, with somebody living in a foreign country, with someone that's representing through YouTube, and with somebody that is recently been representing being a representative for the US Embassy. I don't know what level he represents for them. He was wearing a shirt. I don't know what that actually means. So with some other people, who knows? But all I know is that he's got a lot on the line. He's probably thinking because he has said all these things and put the video out that's going to save him. And I'll repeat for those that were not in the room yesterday. Our YouTube manager said his acts alone and what he talked about he did, even with no footage, he can lose his channel if YouTube manually reviews it. So if somebody has put in a request that they feel that this person, blah, 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 based on his video, okay, that he said, okay, it's one thing to sit up and talk all this fetish stuff and so with the cucumber and all this stuff in their photos and everything. They'll just demonetize them on that. A few of them, they could remove the channel. And that's what I'm sitting there talking to her about. I'm like, you guys removed because we said one word, we got demonetized. And then I got in the topic, and then all of a sudden George says, don't do it. And I said, I'm going to ask her. I said, let's just say somebody's talking about how they beat somebody up and they went into it and how they, did this, and that, and it became a legal issue. And she said, oh yeah, they would definitely, they can lose their channel. And I'm like, oh snap, and I was like, I never thought about that angle. And there's a lot of things that could happen to them. Most are holding the line that, hey, there's nothing that's going to happen unless he pays them off. And it just got crazy. We've heard just about everything on this.
Right. Now, also be aware that it's not like what people think. Be aware when YouTube reviews any content or TikTok or anything like that. There's screenings. You have
Yes.
your first screen, second screen, third screen. First screen is a bot. It will review the content. It'll basically just say blip, 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 okay or no. And then it goes,
Manual.
if it goes become a more serious matter, then it goes to manual. And then after that, it goes to another manual. For instance,
A review.
right,
Okay.
another right. So it goes through 3 screenings, but the first one's usually a bot. So, but the point I'm trying to make here, it's not a jury of peers. It's just usually one person doing the review.
Okay, but also she said there are people that are just in there reviewing all the time. It
No, that's their
doesn't take
job.
a report.
That's their job.
So
yeah.
I just want to let you
No,
guys
that's their
know that
job,
it's
yeah.
not based on, one person. That was me. Just like when that went down with our little friend over here that had all them young kids in the house and this and that. There were people in the US taking claim that they contacted a senator and they took him down all by himself. And I'm like, yeah, probably wasn't you. It wasn't even us. I already said I dropped a dime on him. He was showing that he was putting kids' photos on the internet and he was doing all that weird stuff. And I'm like, then he had all the kids in the house, and I myself had happened to me as a kid. And I'm like, yeah, I was totally offended. So yeah, I dropped the dime on him. He hasn't paid immigration in 7, 8 years. And he's doing this with all these kids in the house, dating all these young women, and all kinds of stuff went down. He came up on our feed because he came up on a big channel that had 100,000 plus views. And I'm like, once we started watching him and I seen that, yeah, I dropped a dime on him because there's all kinds of things going wrong with him. A lot of people actually did, but that doesn't mean it was us that took him down. YouTube, his channel disappeared, and then they showed up over there a few months later. It was a group effort. In this case, there's not going to be a group effort. YouTube could come through and they can hear his words. It's a new game in YouTube. In the last few months, they pick up on words really heavy duty. If you keep repeating these words, AI is now really picking up on that to push videos for, and they can also take the channel down for those. They're actually getting better at that. So he could actually just go down for that.
Yeah, and be aware AI existed a while. It's just smarter now. That's a real difference. But like I said, it's not a jury of YouTube employees that screen it. It's just
yeah,
if one person decides, you know what, shut it down, it's done. Focus on Nation says George looks sad all the time, lol. Now, yes, for the most part, because I'm actually a quiet and thinking type. For those of you who are not aware,
yeah, it's.
but
We talked about that because I told George. I
Yeah.
said the funny thing is when I met him, did I not ask you if are you okay?
but be aware
Because
that
Asians have some sort of weird resting face, like some other, like Japanese.
well,
Did
I'd be concerned if I'm like this all the time. I don't
Well,
care who
'cause then
you
you think
are.
you're
I'd
crazy at that
I'd be
point.
concerned with somebody with a smile on their face nonstop. No, really.
Right. So George just sometimes has no reactions, but he's laughing the whole time. What you guys don't see is the other half of being off a camera. Like if you guys see us fighting and me popping off, like you've seen me do, you guys don't see the other 99% of the time that we're laughing, playing board games, hanging out and him cooking for me, and there's a lot going on.
Yeah, and everybody I know will tell you I'm the happiest guy they know. But doesn't mean that what you're seeing on air, that's me all the time.
Yeah, it's
For
not.
instance, me talking, honestly, most of the time I'm a very, very quiet guy. I even remind Heidi, I don't usually speak unless it's a live. I actually even add that in, unless it's a live. Because I have to interact with you guys, have to address stuff. What I'm saying, if I'm at work, for instance, I won't say anything unless it's work related. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't mean, I mean, of course, or somebody walks over to me and starts a conversation. Yeah, I'll talk your ear out there. But for the most part, I'm a, sip it kind
Oh,
of guy.
interesting. I'm going to put you on the spot here. We received an email early AM, and they're going into something that I'll discuss because we currently do not have anybody in our green room. Okay, so again, I'll let you guys know there's a link above if you want to join this conversation. This is open for people to come in and talk about. So somebody didn't even sign their name to this. This comes from somebody named Calvin. It says, hope it's okay to ask you. Okay, it's hope it's okay to ask, do you do channel for money? Okay, so first off, their English is off. Hope it is okay to ask you, do you do for money? Yes, we don't do the YouTube for money. We get a check every month because we've been monetized. Who would throw away $300 a month? We're not going to say, "Hey, don't deposit in the bank," because I get tired of other channels pretending it's not about the money, and then they throw buy me a coffee all over the place, including the ones that have said that we're only doing it for money and we're doing this and doing that. A lot of YouTubers, if there's a check, they're going to collect it, even the rich ones. Okay. And I've traveled on motorcycle through 30 or more places, including Dumaguete. But the Philippines is not for me. But I watch a lot of YouTubers and I just wonder why so many of you YouTubers love to talk and write about other YouTubers. Huh, because that's like the celebrity TMZ. That's all they do is talk about other celebrities, and others do it to grow their channels. Others do it because it brings them into the rankings. We don't care which it actually is at that point. We do it to actually there is a teaching moment. There is a way to let people voice their opinions. It's voicing our opinions. There's many reasons why we do it. As for Mark, who cares about that? Okay, evidently you do. A fist fight, really? People act like it was a shooting, so I'm just going to say that. I know in a perfect world, no one would ever use violence to settle an issue, but we live in a real world where it does suit a purpose. Keyword suits a purpose. That's the exact line that the guy mentioned about war. It's
Which is not
probably
relevant.
right, but it sounds like the same guy. I always put emails and messages that come in together. He mentioned the exact line that was in the comment in our video. He said it that I would not care. The consequences is if someone was hurt, I would use violence if somebody hurt them.
Oh yeah, and speaking of which,
If that would neutralize the situation, if you ever served in the armed forces, remember he mentioned armies, you would understand there's a reason for conflict.
same person. Yeah.
Same person. So I'm answering you on both. First off, I don't know why you're asking if we make money. If you watch this long enough, you're probably even in the room today. Yeah, of course we do. Okay, you don't think our lights don't cost money? Us running extra AC in here doesn't cost money. SD cards, new equipment doesn't cost money. That we don't put in 80 hours a week on some weeks because we're doing different things and answering comments. Yeah, we're not going to refuse $300, but understand it's the lowest paycheck that we've ever had. We're in it for about $50 a week on average. So it's not about the money. That is for sure. You know, a lot of them get side money and different things that come through. And then you're evidently that person that mentioned in the comment section about that. No, violence is never the answer. I don't care if they called his wife a name in the restaurant until they put your hands, like on somebody. I keep being asked, Heidi, what would you have done? You'd have had to put your hands on me for me to go into full combat. That is for sure. then I'm going to fight back. So Dexter wouldn't be wrong if he got punched a few times and lost that fight and then tried to fight back. None of that was at hand. But some people would have even walked away at that point. Sorry, if I'm sitting there hurting with a bloody nose, that's it. It's all over for you. But that's why I was saddened by that incident last year where I was called out on, is because it was a bunch of words and I never said that I was going to hurt somebody. You got to understand, here in the Philippines, if you say, "Hey, I'm going to go up the street and punch out Tina in the face," Filipina Tina, okay, that would be a problem, okay? But it depends on the context that it was done, and then you have to physically touch them in order to be prosecuted. Here, in a manner like that, it's two expats on expats, okay, which still is going to get you in trouble. But for me, I wouldn't have touched somebody and just went high school like that. There's a lot of high school acting men that are living here in the Philippines. And I want to hear from you guys. Aren't you guys? There's a lot of guys living here. They've got to be getting tired of this crap. I mean, they've got to be getting tired of the vloggers and other people living here. It's not always vloggers, but it's usually where they're seeing it. They got to be tired in Dumaguete, Angel City, of people who brag about what they own. This is my young wife. I own this bar. I'm part owner to this bar. I'm hanging out in these bars with the bar girls. They're constantly boasting, whether it's through the YouTube channel. And doesn't anybody else get, I mean, maybe it's just me emotional as like a woman, but if I had a group of women that I was hanging out with and that's all they did, "Oh, look at me, I got my nails done and here's my new jewelry," and they're always talking about something out. They just do nothing but that. There are these guys that just do that. And there's a lot of gossiping guys that just sit around up in these bars in Dramageddon, Angelageddon, and that's what they do. Surely there's a group of guys in this room and women. We have the women in here today that just, it's just like, hmm, what's up with that? Just a little thought provoking. What do you think of that, George, as a man?
Which part?
All of it, just
Okay,
the guys.
that's a lot. Okay, now first off, again, I'm going to reiterate only because it was brought up again. You cannot compare this to war. Even to the concept of war, be aware there's something called declaration of war, which means you're not really supposed to start the fight until the fight's starting. That's why, Day of Infamy, the reason why they said that, it was because it was an attack before the declaration of war. You know what I'm saying? Remember what I told you, honorable fighting? Normally, if there's a third party involved, you guys don't start the fight until you say, "All right, go," or fight. You know what I mean? Same thing. And because this is not a robbery. This isn't a thug, a mobbing, thugging, or whatever you decide to call it. It's not that. So therefore, that's
Right.
either way. It's done very dishonorably. Okay, and I don't even have to mention who's dishonorable about this fight, if that makes any sense. It's that pretty much cut and dry on that part.
This
That's
whole
why you
thing
can't
is.
compare this to war, man. You really can't. It's
No, and he did
it's
it
not even
twice.
close. Not even close.
And use your use your real name, man. And I kind of feel like that. I think me and George discussed this last night. And sorry if this offends people who've been in our room. If you guys can't show your face during the cam ups, also, I don't think we're going to have people on anymore that won't come on and show themselves. I think we had talked about that.
Well, it depends. I mean, we already knew the other guy prior to. Well, I'm saying if MYK Mike, just an example, if he didn't,
Well,
what I'm saying is we know him already, so you get the point. But if you're somebody we've never met,
I
then
think I would have to
but
disagree
out
on
of
that
courtesy,
because
you
I would have to
should.
disagree. There's so many trolls that'll sit there and call people name, but then never show themselves. And then these guys are creating fake accounts. I don't need fake accounts coming in.
Well,
I'm
that's
not
why I
saying the last one.
said.
Okay,
That's why I
but
said MYK Mike, for example. If he doesn't show his face on us, there's a reason for it. We already
well,
know the guy.
Yeah,
But what I'm
but
saying is,
it's
if you're
not
a
fair.
stranger,
So then basically, okay, so then you're going against what I'm saying should
not-
be done in the future.
no, I'm not going against you. I'm just saying there are exceptions.
Right. Okay. But if I made that exception for 2, I got to make it for everybody. And what I'm saying is we'll get a bunch of faceless people like on Philly in the Philippines where they're just up there running their mouths, cussing, and it's
Out
all
of
out of
courtesy,
control.
you should
And
show your
I,
face.
even Brian left himself faceless during the live streams. And I'm like, I think people should, but anyways, that's
out of
beyond
courtey, you should leave your camera on. I mean, it's
Yeah.
kind of like us. Think about it this way: it's like us doing this live with that throbbing little ball thing in the middle of the screen. Thad says I Spy sitting with Taylor promoting Illuminati.
Real quick, yeah. Crazy Corman says his comments aren't posting. Any idea why? Well, we can actually see you, and other people can see you. Depending on the statements, are either held by YouTube or they're held by some of our keywords. So if certain words are being used, they could be held.
Actually, Crazy Corman, this is a thing. I'm not sure if that's okay. I'm not saying this is what happened. There's something called you can block yourself. What I'm saying, Crazy Corman, if you can read your own comments, but you can't read your own comments at all, like right now we're addressing you. There's a chance you blocked yourself. No, that's the thing. YouTube will allow you to block yourself, and you can't see yourself on comments. Everybody else can see them. We can see them.
Well, I just addressed somebody. It's not really called blocking. It's called hidden.
Right,
but
hidden. Well,
You can hide yourself.
yes, you can hide yourself. It is a thing. I'm not saying that's what happened to him, but what I'm saying is if you can't read any of your own comments at all, and we can read them and other people can read them,
It's kind of weird. Yeah.
odds are you hid yourself. Yes,
Well, I've seen.
it's a thing. Yes.
Yeah, but like I said, if we see him now, then he's not.
Right, not on our end.
He's
right. That's why I said that. Yeah.
Yeah, there are words that are just taken straight. Statements are taken from YouTube, and then there are others. But weirdly, I don't hear people say that about other channels, but the comments aren't being restricted. We have no restrictions on our comments except for some keywords. But YouTube said they also hold their own, and we don't even see it. I've released 3 statements yesterday because usually I wouldn't let that kind of thing through. Told George as soon as I released it, it was gone. So they were actually they were fat shaming Critter Hunter and something else they said about him and Mark, and they were really negative. As soon as I released it, and it was more than 15 words, YouTube will take super long statements. So if it was something that was really a long, then it would take it. So it depends on how big your comment was.
Right. And Matt T, I saw one of your comments. Just so you know, that's
You talking about the 30-year?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well,
those types of comments I can't even say out loud nor put up.
Yeah, I
Okay.
actually will have
Just so you guys know, we can't do that. Like I said, there's a limit of freedom of speech, especially on YouTube. Even outside of YouTube, there's a limit. Freedom of speech is somewhat limited depending on the country and the situation and statement. But in YouTube, especially YouTube, because YouTube, again, they're weird like that.
Well, did you go ahead and take that off? I've not even seen how far up is that statement. I'm sorry, we can't leave the words in there.
Well, I don't think I can get rid of just. Oh, I can. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, that word itself.
Well, yeah. There's like yesterday, I read a comment, but I censored using my mouth because
Now, personal feelings on
there's
Mark
limits.
Thornton's wife, maybe being impregnated by somebody else. I'm not going to remove that comment. Someone's in there talking about Tim K, Andy,
Right,
and
but we're
Mike.
not
I'm not going to
gonna read
remove
it.
that.
We're, it's
But
okay.
that itself, there are just some things. If somebody would have said that about his wife, then the word itself and that statement would have,
Now, Thad says Mike said the dominoes are going to start falling. Now, what that means
Yeah, we said
is
that a few days ago.
it's kind of like if somebody starts crap, then they're going to implicate others,
Right.
or implicate themselves.
There'll be consequences around everything.
Right. It's kind of like
being done.
when somebody bears witness, they're going to attack that witness. It doesn't matter whether it's true or not.
It's going to bring
They're
to
gonna-
light everything,
Right,
whether it's
everything.
on
Whether
it's on Dexter,
Right.
whether it's on him. It could be on Critter Hunter right now.
Right.
It could be everything, including the actions we keep hearing, because we got into it about the business and money transactions, and then a bunch of people went into he's doing everything right, but somebody said something about money transactions and cash and all that. Either way, that'll just put light for the government to come through and start
Right.
looking, could make other people report him. It was just a bad move placing that video, which has now put him in the light of a lot of things.
Right. It's kind of like a traffic stop. Most of the time, big time crooks or criminals get caught on a simple traffic stop. They didn't get caught because of what they did.
It's kind of like a wax job
But
on a car.
yeah, the moment the spotlight's on them, then
Yeah, it's kind of like if you don't put the wax on the car situation, and then all the crap starts sticking to it, and if you put that on there, you might keep the tar, the mud, the salt from the rain, and from the ground up on your car. But he actually did not do that, so he just put that on there, and now everything's sticking to him. He forgot his wax, didn't he?
well, that
He just did it raw dog.
well, the thing is, like I said, unfortunately, and I say unfortunately, it doesn't matter who started the fight. They're both on the spotlight. And the ones around them, not just them, their friends and their families are in the spotlight because normally, depending on the case, on how severe it is, how far it goes down the road, they'll investigate everybody. If that makes any sense. And that's why, yeah, dominoes will start falling.
I know Ante-Peric is not everybody's favorite in here, but didn't he mention yesterday about Mark squatting and not paying rent? I don't think that was somebody else. I think he just came back into this live stream today and mentioned it again.
Well, and
I don't
like I
see.
said, those are unconfirmed whether they're true or
Oh,
not.
and that's the other thing that person said. I'm pretty sure he's the British guy that I'm thinking about, and it's not the British guy that you guys are thinking about. He actually mentioned that to the T about we should be confirming what we put onto our channel or put onto the. Well, that's why we say allegedly or might. You don't hear us say, "Oh, he is 100% going to jail and he is guilty and he's a." This is what might happen. And we've been saying for a long time that this is just an open discussion. So we cover ourselves on all legal basis. Well, that stops somebody from coming through and asking for something to be removed or might be removed and all that. Yeah, well, there's different levels about like what's going on right now. But the guy was like, you should have been confirming in a statement that any statement that we put up in front of people, including y'all's comments, that we should be confirming before we put it up. And I'm like, does he think we're going to stop like midstream and take 5 minutes to look something up or go through a bunch of things? Unless it's like that one guy that put it up, we're just not going.
It wouldn't be a discussion, would it, if we fact checked everything?
Yeah, we're not CNN, and even they don't do it.
Even to the extreme of a presidential debate, do they fact check everything?
No,
No, they don't.
so it's kind of like the same here.
Then that's
but
extreme. That's political. That's nationwide after effects.
Bad Habit said show a photo of Dexter. Did you not put that up yet? Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, okay.
I
So that's a little further down, but it was.
Yeah, and again, if we only it's not. It wouldn't be a discussion if we, kind of fact checked everything, and it wouldn't be a discussion. It's kind of like, okay, then it wouldn't be a discussion. It would be more like a semi monologue. You know what I'm saying?
Further down, I just want to bring it up being it's somewhere in there. Mickey Mason, gonna put you on the spot there. He said it's both men's fault. One man told the other man to step outside, and they both went outside. But the new photo that I believe Andy Omar just put up, the one we seen, sure looks like he was leaning in doing something at the door. So he didn't follow him over like Mark Thornton said. It shows him, and I'm just gonna say what it looks like. He was literally leaning into the door like he was calling him out to come outside.
No, I kind of disagree on that because honestly, so far there's a good consensus that a lot of people believe when they say let's go outside doesn't mean it's a fight.
Oh, Mark said he knew that's what it was going to be. He already said
no,
that.
I know that, but what I'm saying is, actually, you can't do a blanket statement that when somebody says that it's a fight because actually
Right.
there's a good consensus that no, a lot of people will not will not understand it's a fight. And honestly, again, I've been asked to go outside of a restaurant and never got into a fight.
Yeah, it says here to me, both were willing to solve a problem that they had by going outside. And it's to some others' consensus and thoughts that the guy had no idea that that's really,
Correct.
I would have took
Correct.
that innocently, because you know
I
what?
would have taken it instantly.
Because if I want to
Correct.
cuss his ass out outside and call him whatever I wanted to and had a verbal argument with him, I'm not going to sit amongst a bunch of guys and women and Filipinos and do that. I'm going to go outside and cuss his ass out.
Right. For
So
example,
he might not have known that Mark was going to throw a punch, being he's such a public figure and, you know, the director, whatever he's actually doing. But I don't think he was expecting is what the latest, developments have come up on this.
and actually, I've heard a lot of times, actually, at workplace, because actually, let's go to the extreme of workplace environment. You know how many times I've heard a manager says, "I'll confront him outside." That's both key words there: confront and outside. I'll take him outside and confront him.
Tim Husk.
You know what I'm saying? Does that mean the manager's going to beat him up? No. It just means they're going to talk to him. And those are somewhat semi-aggressive words, but that's not necessarily what it means. Again, that's why I said yesterday that Texas, I get it. It may be a Texas thing, keyword. It may be cultural. I don't know. But
All right, further down, I'm going to go to the next one. Sorry, babe. Okay, we know because it's so far down. You're going in a row here. JPJ. Okay, we know about what Mark did. He even confessed on the video. But what about the other side? What about the trash talking at Ground Zero in the emails about his vasectomy? And it says lady time. Is it true or is it false? It doesn't matter. In my opinion, well, get your opinion, it doesn't matter. I don't care how much he was taunted or if they were calling his wife names the whole time. You don't go outside and punch a man in the face in a third world country, in a country you can be thrown out of, in a place that you could sit in such a bad jail cell and situation that he put everything on the line by taking it outside to settle. He already admitted like full guilt on a video that he still has not taken down. Violence was not the answer over that, because I'm gonna tell you, well, I better keep my mouth shut, because I was about ready to say that there's been a lot of trash talking about me. I didn't go settle it up with full violence, knowing exactly where these people are. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I mean, I've heard so much trash talking about me and George against me, and you should leave her, and vice versa. All the stuff they say about him, all the insinuations have come from where we know where these people are right now. But it's not worth them running their mouth to go over there and for me to be kicked out, me to be separated from George. It would take time. If I did all that and I had to leave, here's the thing: at least George is allowed to leave the country and come back to the US. Can Mark Thornton's wife leave here and go live with him and the baby over there overseas? Can he afford all of that? Can he do all that? We know what we can do. But violence would never be the answer to begin with. I could end up in jail and all of that. Then you have all this stuff. Now you have all the media and us talking about it and everybody talking about it and puts everybody in a bad light. Was that other guy right? No, probably not. But he looks like he got the brunt of it, and he's the one that's able to file all this against him. All the words in the world and all the conversation that these guys have had was not a ticket. He even brought on his brother-in-law, future brother-in-law, and what's his Jen's sister, just to sit down and say, well, didn't he do this and didn't he do that? And it's like, does it matter? You're not proving any case. You're building a case against yourself. He hit this guy. The guy has filed stuff, and it's just not looking good for Mark.
it's not, because, like I said, if he files stuff, it'll show up on an NBI report.
I think you're gonna have to go separate the kids.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear the cat fight outside? Literally.
Well, I don't know, not necessarily. These things that were built in. What do you call it?
If they're wearing headset, you might be able to see it.
Now, here's the thing. Yeah, Shane G, that's an issue, yes. I just want to say not all American expats are bad. Yes, Americans get a bad rap from few American expats that are bad. I would say 90+% of American expats are good people, drama free. And again, here's the problem. Not just American expats, any Caucasian expat is usually bunched together with Americans. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, for the most part. Oh, like for instance, like I said, like a British guy without a heavy accent will be classified as American.
For I'm sure they can hear that. That's
Well,
starting to
that
get to
yes.
me. I want to say further down that somebody said Andy was instrumental in exposing the Frogs Bachelor course. I think a lot of people were, but it goes all ways. There are Filipinos that run channels like that. There's like 100 channels like Rike's. Andy Omar tends to go in and expose a lot of people, whether it's all facts, whether it's like the information he's gathered. He's been instrumental in doing that forever. It's what his channel has been about. So, more power to him on there. But I wouldn't say he said he was instrumental in exposing Rike's channel, the Bachelor courses. Rike exposed himself. That's the bottom line on that one. He left himself open. Any vlogger or anybody that puts information out that's exposing themselves, such as his own course, then that would be him, not Andy really busting it wide open. People already thought about it. Maybe Andy Omar is instrumental and boisterous like I am, and that's how it actually got out there. But Rike did it to himself. Mark Thornton did this to himself.
Right.
Nobody's exposing him. He's already been exposed as a open canister of film, man. True story. And like I said, there's video out there. It's just a matter of time. And me and George was like, do we cover this? Because literally we set up a live stream this morning to talk to everybody about life here, bringing people on the panel. And then this stuff came out and I was like, I don't think people have seen this photo. And here we are. And it's, how long will this go on? Who knows? It's a trip. Good morning, Victoria's in the house.
Hey, Victoria. Morning, Heidi, George, and everyone. Chris Sinsvu says Mark should probably be deported and classified as a persona non grata.
It's a very, very well a possibility. Yes.
Bill I says, unfortunately, because of Mark's childish behavior and his obvious lack of self control, he has created major problems for himself and his family. See, that's the issue. It's not just if he was single.
Even then, it wouldn't have made it right.
Well,
but yes.
I'm not saying it's right, but at least he doesn't have to be responsible for other people. But unfortunately, he's responsible for other people.
We could do an entire live stream on what's going to happen to his wife. And him, and just that.
Right.
Because think about it. If any of these go south, his channel, that's a lot of his income right now.
Well,
it's a big part of what they're surviving on. Clearly, okay, it's what they are. And if he gets thrown out, who's going to take care of that car? That car's going to get reabsorbed by the area. His wife, as I'm to understand, ain't going to make that payment. Somebody said that her father was just a carpenter, and her family's not like they're not like the Marcos or something. She's just an average Filipina. Okay, so where is she going to come up with the money to come up? Just where is she? She's got a channel. Maybe her channel will continue on and she can live on that, but I don't think it's enough to carry on the lifestyle and pay $400 a month for a car.
Right. Now, also be aware.
And who's going to take care of the baby?
Let's say he doesn't get
college
deported.
and
let's say he doesn't get deported. Okay. I'm not saying he is, or I'm not saying he's not. But let's say he everything eventually dies down. Let's say because eventually, regardless of whether he gets deported or not, it will eventually die down. Okay. Somebody made a comment earlier. He's only got himself to interview eventually. That's what they said. And that's a good point. Now, he's not going to go all the way down to nobody's going to want nothing to do with him. Because remember, there's always somebody who's going to be on his side, regardless of how I feel or how Heidi feels, how you feel. There's always, right, somebody's going to be always on his side. So he's always going to have people to interview, but not as a big of a spectrum, if that makes any sense. Will it affect him? Yes. Will it kind of slow it down? Yes. Um, I agree with you on Edwin, but the funny thing is, Edwin, not everybody agrees with me on this. No man has the right to hit another unless it's for self-defense.
That's where I'm at.
There's a lot of people out there that say it's okay to hit first. I disagree, but that's just me. That's my opinion.
And George knows I'm a hard ass. I'm hard nosed. I'm tough like my grandparents, both sides. You know, I'm like first to do a lot of things. Believe me, it's taken a lot of self control in this country. But in that manner, okay, I even think about what I've done it in the US. Told George there's a good chance that in a situation where somebody was talking that bad about my family and all of this and whatever, and they were threatening me, and then I felt like I was freaking out. It's a small possibility I'd have drove to that person's house and as I told George, beat the brakes off of them. Okay. But even then, I'm still just too old for that. And I'm 50. I've still got family. I've still got grandkids. We have grandkids. We have pets. I don't want to sit in jail forever. Come on. But it's different here. It's a whole different level with him being in a country 13,000 miles from home. And I don't think he has a lot of a security blanket right now. I think he's like hanging on to a baby blanket right now. He doesn't have that quilt anymore. He's got a little baby blanket he's swinging from. So he's swinging on this baby blanket in another country. And he's just, that's it. It's like someone took the scissors and just, cut his security away from him. It's just, just
Right. Matrix says,
crazy.
I guess the Spaghetti Mafia is totally real. Now, James Marshall, wonder why the cop friend condoned Mark's behavior. Be aware that it's the answer is in your statement right there. I'm pretty sure this is a rhetorical question. It's because it's
Which
his
cop?
friend. Well, it doesn't matter. That's the thing. It's the statement. What I'm saying is he answered his own statement because it's his friend. Your friends will support you for the most part, regardless whether you're right or wrong.
He's talking about Jen's sister's boyfriend. That's why it's a brother-in-law.
Right, which is still
Yeah.
bias.
Favoritism.
Right. And speaking of favoritism, I have somewhat bad news for our regular viewers. Officer Yumel. Okay. No, he's not a cop anymore.
Well, yeah. I mean, no, I was just laughing because of what happened.
The reason being is because he said something. Oh, I told you, right?
Yeah, that he was fired here. One of the
He
cops
said
we knew.
something amiss about one of his superiors, and somebody ratted him out. One of his coworkers.
So over words, it got him in trouble here. That's a good example. Is one, it doesn't matter if a Filipino, even a Filipino talking about a Filipino, can actually get in trouble here.
Right. Technically, even the cops I spoke to yesterday, they don't agree with it. But point being, it's eventually whoever says who has the right to give thumbs up or thumbs down. You know what I'm saying?
So he doesn't have a job no more. Wow.
Yeah. Yes, this is important. Kinsfire says, here in the Philippines, take public safety very seriously. Right.
Grumpy Dude Bryant further down. I'm gonna try to grab some of the members' comments. Grumpy Dude Bryant said, "Morning H&G. I just realized that these vlogger issues really don't matter a hill of beans to me now. I will be in the Philippines next week, and I suddenly stopped caring about the YouTube Duma drama." Yeah, we kind of agree on that one. A lot of people, like I said, it's kind of even turning them off from being in that area or
Correct.
this area
That is
because there's a bunch
consensus.
of it going on here too. There's a bunch of it,
Not like there.
well, there's a lot we don't even care to hear about. We're missing stuff all the time because we're not going to go sit down on Walking Street among those that all sit down there. There's a whole group of guys and vloggers that just sit down there and they know all the dirt. Just like the other day, there was somebody that got busted for DRUGs again, and there's all kinds of stuff that's going on. It's just not Doomageddon. That's what I'm trying to tell people is it's just not their area that has this type of stuff.
Well,
There's even fights too, George. It's just
I'm
more.
aware.
It's more pronounced because he's got 70,000 subscribers, and because he's put himself in the light all the time over the alleged cruise ship deal and investment deals, and I've heard all kinds of things about him. He's put himself out there. It's just kind of a come around.
Well, technically, reality is if that gentleman didn't put out a video about him doing what he did, this would not have blown up.
Yeah, which, hey, thank you.
You know, they probably would have said, "Oh, it'll be kind of one of those somewhat in rumor but confirmed
It'd probably
rumors."
just been
but
there in
still,
that area.
It'll
If
be in
there
the
wasn't
background, right?
YouTube,
It'll be
yeah.
in the background.
It would have drowned out. And here's the thing: pre-internet and pre-YouTube, Doomageddon was okay. I think it's like I said, these are a bunch of guys fluffing out their chest over there. As I'm to understand, and here they're switching out girlfriends. There's all kinds of things that I'm hearing about that area, but I'm hearing it all through the grapevine. I'm hearing it from some people that are sending us messages. We're hearing it from some friends. No, maybe we don't. And that's why we always say this is allegedly, possibly, we're just having a conversation with you guys today situations, but we wouldn't have heard about this before.
No,
Of course
it would have,
not.
and it would have died down quick. You know what I mean?
They'd have talked about it a week, sitting at a bar up the street from the incident, because there's several bars in the neighborhood, and then that would have been it. But now it's just going around and around, and I feel really bad about his wife.
Sorry, it's just something funny off the camera. It's just funny. But anyway.
Holy snakes.
All right. So anyway.
Wow, we just got a crazy
Victoria,
message.
cost nothing. Hit like thumbs up. Thank you guys. Appreciate your support. We love you guys.
Thank you. We appreciate that. We will put that toward George's we'll put that towards your $5 bonus this month. Thank you for sending that.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And Sarah, yes, thank you for the coffee. Very much.
Oh yeah, that was what I was getting ready to address real quick with Sarah. She put a comment in here. Sorry about that. Sarah says, I think, yeah, let me get in. She says, I think Mark actually told you. Here, give me some. Give me some.
I do. Me and Heidi have a secret handshake, but we can't show it on air.
To you, baby.
There you go. Okay. So
hey, them cats sound like you last night.
I have to break them up.
Well, I said take the water bottle. Can you guys hear the cats? Anybody?
Squirt them with water bottle.
See what I mean? You know, Filipinos are the nicest people in the world, and I go out there and spray them right in their eyes. I love cats, but I'm about to spray those cats in their eyes. That's the violence you're going to get out of this household. Okay, so what happened? Real quick on the side. Now I'm gonna get to you here, Sarah. She said, well, let me answer this first. I think Mark actually said he put his sister-in-law with her present boyfriend. Mark said that he didn't approve with. So, or what the hell she said, or didn't approve. I know it's getting really weird. And as I'm to understand from other channels and rumor mill, that a bunch of them have switched around women and dating, and it's just crazy. It's like, there's a lot of women here. I don't get it. I don't get it. No, so the cats, we have a couple indoor cats, and we have, I probably give or take 6 or 7 that are from the neighborhood. They're not ours that we've dumped outside. We've just been feeding them for the last year and a half since we've been here. And they're out there. There's 2 of them that just sit face to face. And in between feeding, we usually don't hear them. But usually about an hour before feeding time, they do this. Now they're out here at almost noon, and they're out there yelping at each other, and it usually takes a spray bottle. So I just spray in their direction, and then they take off. It's all over with. But George is talking about he ain't going to do it. I spray him right in the eye, George, man. Go get him. That's crazy. So
yeah.
So I take it MYK or Andy Omar is, I know Andy Omar reads his comments.
Okay, now actually,
I won't pick on you, Andy, I promise. Babe, they're going to injure each other. That's why I spray at them. Because we have to put medicine on their wounds.
Okay,
like
well, let me answer this. Okay, George, I love the Philippines. You mentioned you're a quiet person, but from my observations, the broader culture in the Philippines is outgoing. Do you feel life in the U.S. made you more introvert? Yes and no. Be aware, I'm I wouldn't classify myself as an introvert nor an extrovert. I adapt to a situation. Meaning, again, I'm the kind of guy who walks in a bar. I know everybody in the bar. I'll call them out by name. And like, hey, this, hey,
No,
that, hey,
he
that.
is outgoing.
And same thing, they would know my name. Why do you think whenever I go do walkabout videos, I know people's names? I'm that kind of person. However, if the person I'm with is the quiet type, I'll ramp up my extrovertedness. Now, if I'm with an extroverted type, which talks a lot, brags a lot, then I'll increase my introvertedness. I adjust to the environment.
He is. So if it's like me, that's why you guys see that during the live stream. That's a great example because there's a lot of times that if I get going talking on the topic, I know he's being proper, but George is a really heavy duty observer. Ever since I've met him from day one, like we went out and then went bowling afterwards. He's quiet. If I'm talking about something, he gets quiet and he just stays quiet.
Here's a cat you never
Oh,
seen
geez,
before.
wow, he is big.
Here's
Hi there.
Felix. And yeah,
No,
yeah.
baby, that's not Felix. That's Cal.
No, babe, this is Felix.
No,
Babe,
it's not.
Babe, this is Felix. Cow has cow spots. That's Felix.
That's Felix?
Yes, that's Felix. He's here every day.
Wow.
That's Felix. Cow looks like a cow. That's why I call him cow.
Okay, so the other one was Cal. We call him Cal because the black and white spots. Okay, well, he looks like his brother then.
Oh, wait, hold on.
So there are several cats. But no, George, here's the thing. I'm going to just be honest and put this out there, and I'm sure you guys have observed this. Filipinos, you say they're outgoing. I think they are.
This is Prego Bella. It's Prego Bella. She's really big.
Yeah, look at her.
Yeah, she's really, really big. Oh, there's people. All right, hold on, kid. Hold on.
Hey, it's Andy. What is up?
All right, Andy, hold on.
I think it is Andy. I see glasses.
Hold on.
It might be him. But Filipinos tend to actually be quiet. Hey, what's up, Andy?
All right, guys. We have Andy Omar. He doesn't need an introduction. He's been a vlogger here in the Philippines. He's established himself. Everybody knows who this gentleman is. All right, here we go.
Oh, there
Hey,
you go.
Andy. Welcome. How are you?
How you guys doing?
Doing good. We've been throwing shout outs to you this morning and everything for your channel.
Okay. Yeah, because I was kind of I'm here kind of like, exchanging some money and waiting for some bills.
Oh,
But yeah,
there you
I've
go.
seen the live, like it's about Mark, right?
Yes, it's about Mark. And definitely that was a great photo. That is something else. And
Yeah.
yeah, tell us a little bit on your perspective real quick for those about the last video or two you put out in regards to that and your stance on him getting into a fight, because you've been calling him out for a long time. And
Well,
it appears like we always said that you have kept it real, and you've brought to light a lot of people on the things and the expats that are doing bad things here in the Philippines and everything. So again, guys, check out his videos, and we'll put a link to your video and your channel in here. So this was all kind of last minute. So
oh yeah, appreciate it. It's fine. Yeah, because they were telling me like, he wants to invite you in or whatever. So they want to invite you. So that's when I came in. I was exchanging money, and I was like, sure, why not? I join in. But the thing with with them, hold on a second, I'm just signing stuff. All right. Oh, cool, perfect. So the thing with Mark is that he didn't know that there was an actual video, actual CCTV camera outside. So he is out there making up the story
yeah,
to
I
his
seen that
perspective.
because it looks like he was leaning in, calling them to come out. Is that what it actually?
What happened was that he went in. So okay, they were arguing, right, and they were going to the side. The one of the waitresses told Justin, like, "Hey, Justin, like you guys are getting loud over here," because they were calling him out because he's always making lies about Justin. He's always making lies about Dexter and all this stuff because they were telling him, they're not partners. One,
Right.
they were not business partners. His wife is his business partner. Um,
Right.
so if even the supposed money man says that they were not partners, that's already a big, tell that they were not, or else the guy would take credit for being a partner. So,
Right.
and they were telling him, why are you making lies about us and everything. So it was getting loud. The waitress told Justin, and Mark was like, let's go out, let's go outside, let's talk outside. So, and it was like, like an argument conversation. And from there, you know, so obviously Dexter went first. If they were gonna go for a fight, why would Dexter go to put his hand on the door and open it for Mark? If
Right.
you're in a fight, you would probably slam the door on somebody and go outside or something, right? And start getting
Right.
ready. Not be opening politely the door for them like a gentleman and and start.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, because always stepping outside doesn't always mean a fight. But Mark kept reiterating that, oh, if I say we're going to step outside, that's going to be a fight. So he's already pre-admitting that he was ready to punch his lights out.
yeah, exactly. And then when he's opening the door for him, okay, so he's holding the door, and that's when, as soon as he's stepping out, he just starts, swinging on him and stuff. Like he did like 3 punches on his face. So it was pretty surprising, I guess, on the guy's part, and it was
Yeah.
pretty much assault from there.
Right. So what do you think's going to be the outcome from that? We said all kinds of things. He may not get his exit clearance. He could lose his YouTube channel if somebody said that he's admitting to beating the crap out of people. There's so many different things that could happen to him. He may not be able to get back in the country if he actually ever does leave. He could end up in jail. What do you think that might allegedly happen to him besides all of that, and what his wife might think of him at this point? I mean, I said it's a possibility. She may actually be afraid of him at this point from a
This is the
female
thing. Like, she's
perspective.
pretty quiet. I don't think he's gonna lose his channel. Why? Under what circumstances is he gonna lose his channel? Um, but since there was a lot of, let's say, I don't know if you guys noticed that Mark Borden was putting out a lot of videos about other dive shops, and then
Yes,
he was sneakingly talking behind Justin's back and saying, "Yeah, that other dive shop over there, I wouldn't go there. I would go here," or
correct.
like making fun of the business.
Yeah, I thought
Um,
that was weird.
yeah, he was promoting other businesses. He was um, and he's talking about dive shops. Like, this guy is a diver. He's not even qualified. I don't even know how he's reviewing dive shops. He's not even licensed. So that's the one thing. It's pretty weird, right?
Right.
That makes
Um,
sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah.
so
Well, I mean, in regards
just
to the
go
YouTube
ahead.
channel, I just want to say that our manager did say the reason that he might, if somebody's manually going through channels, is because he admitted violence. Like it was just a violent act that he's sitting around boasting about. There is a small chance,
Promoting violence.
correct, that he's actually admitting to a crime that he's done in another country, and just people are afraid. Like, you know how people are snowflakes these days. It was a
Yeah.
younger YouTube manager that we had, and I kind of threw in that scenario, and she says, yes, they would lose their channel, not monetization. If we
Hmm.
found it to be against guidelines in such a case, then they would go through their guidelines, then yes. And I'm like, him putting that out there and releasing that video has just opened up a whole can of whoop ass and worms on his butt.
Um. Well, do you guys hear the noise or not?
No,
Not really. No.
Okay.
no, we
Wow,
don't
this
hear
is
anything.
good. Wow, because it's super loud here. That's why I'm walking away, like frantically trying
Yeah,
to get
no,
away from
you're
this place.
coming through clear. We don't hear anything around
Oh,
Yeah.
you.
okay, perfect. Um, yeah, that's the thing, that even in his own version of the lie, he self-incriminated himself. So regardless
Yes,
of what version it is, whether it's his lie or the truth, he's already has something going on against him. So
correct. Yeah.
there's a truth with all right, with the camera, right? So with the camera, it's outside. He didn't know it was outside, so he made it all up for sure. Um,
Mhm.
this guy, he's talking about how the one guy, he was gouging his eyes out. He went back and ran to the ground zero. Like, the guy was basically blinded and beat up. Like, imagine you're getting your eyes gouged out. Do you have the energy to go back to ground zero? I don't think so.
Yeah, right. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I told people. No matter, whether people were gossiping, not gossiping, whether they feel that Critter Hunter was this and everybody was doing that, it was still Mark Thornton that came forward and actually did that. You know, he's the
Wow.
one that actually beat the crap out of him, and it's
Yes. But you know, so the legal complications is one, Justin is gonna get him for
I did say that.
defamation because
Let's
throughout
see
the
if it's his
videos,
voice.
so many videos, he has said a lot of defamatory comments, and I don't think it's gonna be him that's gonna do the case. I believe it's his wife, the partner. You know, ruining the dive shop and everything, talking smack about the boats. You know, like that's basically, you know, talking about the boat like it's not seaworthy or whatever. You know, he's out there, you know, fixing it and things like that. And why do you need to make it so life threatening? You know, like it's super defamatory. Like he's talking about like I wouldn't go there, it might kill me or something like that, right? Like it's super defamatory. Like I could talk something about a business. I could say, you know, the food sucks here in this place, do not go. You know, something light, but I wouldn't say something like, oh, this is gonna kill you. So things like that. That's one. Another one is the Dexter guy. He has money. So with that,
Correct. I knew that. They
um,
did say that he did. Yes.
he's gonna get screwed over for sure. Uh, he's there obviously assault. There is already something going on in the background, and that's why the video is not being shown. I did see the video by a video call, but I didn't get a file, so it's that sensitive.
Wow.
But they gave me that thing. So there is even like this is the thing. Like the guy is so broke. He's on Social Security right now. He's squatting. He's squatting in the house that they're selling. He's not paying any rent
Okay. Yes.
until the
Somebody
guy
was
sells
saying.
the apartment. So after he sells the apartment, then he has this Geely car, this China car that's like on a
Right.
35% interest loan.
Oh my gosh.
And you know, the baby's coming. You know, she's gonna, and then these two cases are coming in. You know, this girl's gonna be a single mother pretty soon because this guy is gonna die of a heart attack, or he's gonna get the hell out of this, you know, Philippines or something.
And yeah, he's going to run from the case. And a lot of people don't realize that. What I have seen of it just seems like that's a possibility. He's going to run. So let's just say the rumors are out there that he's going to run.
Yeah, and he has some sort of mental disability, Asperger's or something. I don't know if that can cause that mental stuff. I have no idea.
It's a
If you guys know.
possibility. It's a possibility with that type of neurological, but I don't think it gives. I mean, I told George I've got my own anxiety. I've had depression in the past, and I've got my own mental issues I deal with, but I still know
Uh-huh.
enough and hold myself together that I wouldn't do that to somebody. So, therefore, in a case like that, I mean, he shouldn't have been here to begin with if it was that bad off and he had that type of, aggression. But we do have a lot of expats that are here that have those issues. Yes.
Right.
I would still be curious to see what this person, give him 2 seconds. We know it's not, but yeah. Go ahead and bring in Bruce and we have somebody claiming to be Critter Hunter.
Yeah. So here's
Which
Bruce,
we know
guys.
it's not. Critter Hunter sent us a message through Facebook because of that incident that happened with Brian Philly in the Philippines. He had left a message saying that he had his back in regards to me and he knew that I was a big woman and everything. And he said that it was a misunderstanding and something. So he did come through and apologize. And he had sent us a messages. Well, actually, it was last night, this morning, but I read it. So we had, tried to invite him to come in. Now we know this isn't okay. Yeah, see, it's that one guy because
Okay,
it's
then,
his photo. Yeah, so it's not. I forgot who that is. He switched his name out because that's the photo. It's showing
Yeah.
that one guy in jail, the one that got
Jordan.
Jordan. So
Barry
somebody's
Jordan.
using Jordan Berry's photo under Critter Hunter. So they just switched out the name. So I would go ahead and just just go ahead and remove them from the stage. We're not going to. Yeah. Sorry, no, because I just double checked Critter Hunter and that's definitely not him. So, but yeah.
Wait.
So
Oh,
okay,
he
I'm
muted.
back.
Okay,
Oh,
there it is.
wasn't
Yeah,
my mic was on, sorry.
yeah.
yeah, go ahead and add Bruce to the stage. We had Bruce here. He's one of our regulars that have come in. What's up, Bruce?
Hey, what's going on, you guys? What's up, Andy? How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great, thank you.
I
So I
followed
mean, in
Andy
the
for
end,
years.
so go ahead. I was just trying to get the rest of Andy.
Oh, go
So
ahead. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Me? Okay. So basically, yeah, anything case, like for he's on Social Security, so this guy, and even a fake case is gonna ruin him because he has to pay an attorney to defend himself. Because here in the Philippines, even if the case is fake and a Trump,
Right.
you still have to spend some money.
A lot
And
of money.
I've done that. I've been there.
I've
I
been there too.
countersued somebody, and it cost a lot of money. It took me more than 2 years.
Mhm.
Man,
And see, I wasn't waiting for that, Andy. I
I
know.
told um I'm sorry, your name. I think when we were talking last time at the bikini show, I think I told.
Yeah,
I
George.
don't know if I might have told him that. Like that's how I paid for the house and stuff like that, because
Yeah.
yeah, of my countersuit and stuff. So
Yeah, no,
yeah,
I'm familiar with that, and I'm sure you were familiar because I think you said that you knew about Philly and the Philippine and me and his wife. There was that thing about a year ago. And
yeah,
I
I got
told
angry
George,
at that actually.
huh?
I got angry at that actually. I mean,
Okay,
you
but
know,
most people don't know
yeah.
the real story on that, Andy, because I never did. So what it
Oh,
was is we had a troll coming the backside that was pretending to be him, and plus Brian kept mentioning us in the actual his videos. So there was something there. But then one day I said that she's using her channel and the kids are on there all the time. And when Brian kept saying things and using our photo, I said that if I ever seen them, there would be a confrontation. It didn't mean
oh,
violence. I never threatened his wife. I said confrontation. And then the one day I slipped up and I said that Lut was followed by a stranger and they were after the kids because she always has the kids in her video. So that made me legally liable. And then he went and got an attorney, not her.
oh,
So,
wow. I
yeah,
mean,
so that's all
it
that ever
did
was.
sound.
He did, and they will do that in the media. So what happened was, is I was hurt because we like them. We've met up with them. George has met with them since. I felt bad, and I made a public apology. But here's the thing:
Uh-huh.
it still cost us money. We had to get attorneys, and I wasn't going to drag this out forever. So I publicly apologized. And
Oh,
so,
wow.
yes, he kept talking about my size. He kept going on. And it did upset people because he made it clear that it was me. And I'm like, that's not even fair because I was talking about the both of them and I wasn't talking about violence. But things do get twisted in the media for sure. So I came forward about a year
Yeah.
ago, said my apologies, but it cost me an attorney. So that's how I know because I had to spend time. Okay. I had to spend time on that and money. And I wasn't going to spend even if they could get us in defamation and threatening a Filipina is what they were trying to go with.
Oh, yeah. That's
They
not gonna fly,
rarely
really.
prosecute. They rarely prosecute for that
Exactly.
defamation.
Exactly.
And I would have had to hit her in order to pay fines. And that's as much as I was going to do. I wasn't going to spend, we already spent 200-300 bucks to get the attorney that we had, a good one out of Manila. And I just wasn't going to deal with it no more. So it was better to settle up. And I said to George, I
Oh,
said, I was like, he should have settled, like Mark Thornton should have kept that video down, an admittance of guilt. He still would have went down anyways, but he's keeping it up. By the way, we offered him to come in yesterday. That was a no. That was a no immediately. And not interested was his answer. And we've had contact with him in the past. So of course he's not going to come on. I said, you could talk to people, stand up, talk to people. And yeah, that was an immediate no on that one.
yeah, because that's the thing. That's at the time where I got mad and I started talking about you guys because like I met Lut, she's she's always eyeing him like a hawk. Everything I understand, but at the same time, she means well for him. So
Right.
at the way, I was kind of like, oh my god, why are they talking about the girl, the lady? And then that's when I started. I made you guys heard the live stream and stuff. So yeah, then I was talking about you guys. Um, yeah, and that's when it left a bad taste in my mouth, kind of deal.
Yeah.
Because I was
I
like, I
understand.
thought you guys were cool or something before, but I didn't even know the how deep it was. You know?
Right. No, that's what happened is he started to use our photos when the engineer up the street was supposed to build a wheelchair. He really did steal the money. Then he used that for content. He took our photos, he took the story. but he twisted it around. So slowly over a few months, he kept mentioning me without mentioning my name. Then he kept mentioning this plus size, and we knew he was talking about us. But then 3 or 4 trolls in the background started sending us emails and messages pretending to be him. So I was a little agitated. I used to mention him without mentioning him. You know how we do it in the videos. What, just the way it went. Well, one day it got to the point where I was being trolled so bad, and George and him have had a conversation since that it kind of went that way. And then I was like, I actually made the statement that if I ever seen them, there would be a confrontation. He actually put that in the letter. He went and got the attorney. And this is still nothing against
Wow.
Brian. We like Brian, but he went and
Yeah, I
got
mean,
a high-powered
Brian's very
attorney.
protective, so that's why
I
and
get it,
I
but
probably, yeah,
yeah, but he
I would have
actually
done the same thing as well because, yeah, that's one thing
yeah,
is,
but confrontation,
hmm
he should have, and I said that on air immediately. I actually said that because he said something before he even got an attorney, and I said confrontation doesn't mean full whatever, but whatever it was, it went back and forth. But I was hurt in the end because she said she was scared of me and that I
yeah,
hurt her feelings. I'm like, yeah, that's not what it was about. And that's when I said it went too
yeah,
far. And so I
yeah,
made it, and I don't want it to go on forever. Even if it is, there's a good chance we might not have lost. My feelings is that she was hurt and I considered her a friend. I liked her. So the fact that, I hate to say this and Brian will take offense, it wasn't about him. I told George if it was just me and him, it might have went on for a while. But I didn't want to hurt Lut. I wasn't afraid of being sued. I wasn't afraid of that they were going to deport me. It wasn't down to that. It was down to her
yeah,
feelings
I
were hurt.
understand.
And I'm still apologetic that I really liked them both, and I still like those. It was just YouTube stuff. And if that would have happened in the US, it would have been a different game. And
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
nobody ever did. But I've been in that position where it has gotten down to that. And then I put myself in Mark Thornton's shoes. His ass should have walked away. At any
So you put
point,
yourself in
he's,
clown shoes?
yeah, that's just crazy. I mean, that
Yeah,
is,
I didn't know it was that deep because when I heard that like you were gonna confronting Lud and all that, so I was angry at that time. I was like, what the
sure,
fuck
that's
is wrong with this?
understandable.
I was yeah, I was pretty angry at the time. But there, oh, okay. I want to talk about another one that's kind of new. I hope you don't get offended or anything.
No,
There's the one accusation where you would talk about Mike and with his wife
which
and
one? Which
the
one?
old guy, um, Mike,
Uh,
Philippine Journey.
our Philippine journey?
Yeah, and then
Okay.
there was some things with accusations where you guys were calling him a drama chaser and all that stuff, and I'm like,
No, no references to him. Sorry.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'd have been
But
more
that's
specific.
why it was you know um it was getting to the point where I mean I am not in full authority to say this. I know that Mike is gonna say like, "Why are you saying this?" But like his wife was like, you just start making other videos of other things like that, and I was kind of sad because I met Arlene. Like she's a very nice soul, good person. Like she's really nice. And I was
Yeah,
like, "Oh
we've
my
never
god,
made any
how could
reference
they
to
say
Mike and his
this?"
wife.
I was
Right,
like,
but you've
"Yeah."
never no, but you've heard that from me where we've actually said something about his wife.
No,
We
not
don't
this. No, no,
reference
not
to
this.
Mike at all.
It
We don't have any problems
No,
with Mike
no,
and
no. You
Arlene.
didn't say nothing about the wife. I mean, accusing the channel of being like a drama chaser kind of D or something like that, right?
There's a
And
lot of
of course,
channels we
the
refer to.
channel,
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
the
you
channel.
know
It
me.
hurt.
I'm going to
It's
call them out. I actually called even the other channels out by their actual names. So, unfortunately, that would be a no on that. So,
oh, okay, yeah, because
yeah.
that's the
No,
one that I was kind of not sad, but it was kind of like, oh my god, it's like you guys do the same thing. It's like me trying to call some other guy a
yeah, we're
troll.
all in the
It's like
same
me, like,
area, the same drama, expat life in Angeles City and all that. Now, I do have a problem sometimes when some of the other channels and there's multiples that'll come up and kind of drudge through your stuff and talk with your people and do all that stuff. Like I've even called out what's that a regular guy used to come up in our room when he was
Oh,
at 1,000, and he used to come in and drop money, but he would sit there and talk to people at the same time, kind of
hmm,
pulling them in. And there's a name for that. What did we say you call that when people come in
fishing.
and purge,
Hijacking.
hijack, purge,
Hijacking.
snatch,
Yeah.
or whatever? But fishing, and they do that, and I'm with that, and I'm okay, because we know that his channel, along with others, yes, have actually come through and done that in the beginning. But I think we've all kind of done it nonchalantly. But no,
Yeah.
if I did, I would.
No,
I
we all
know
done
he
it
asked
for
us to
sure.
come on his channel recently, and I didn't respond. I mean, I don't have to exactly like be like full friendship with everybody that's actually here, but I'm just not interested in coming in on his channel in a panel right now. So it's just not exactly in my, in my wheelhouse that I want to sit on his channel with these other guys, and just where it is. So, but
Yeah, that's true. But you know what? It's so funny that why there's so much drama in Dramageddon, but in Angeles City, like you got so many bloggers out here, even
there
doubled,
is.
like, but there's no drama. There's really nothing crazy like that. I mean, probably the worst that I've heard was your story with the
Right.
attorney, but
Yeah,
that was
which
it wasn't nothing crazy like fighting, bickering. There's none of that here for some odd reason. I don't know why people criticize Angeles City. Sex bats, bad people only go there. It's only drug users and pros. But a lot of the sanest bloggers are in Angeles compared to these other guys that are in the provinces and these islands where they're just with some insane what do you call it, they have something, they're always something with them for some odd reason. It's crazy.
no, I agree. And I think it's part of the whole thing, because it just is it's just part of what goes on. It's kind of like all the news channels, all, TMZ and all of that. It's all about entertainment at the end of the day, providing information, exposing. And we're just going to play the game because, like I was telling George, as you know, it's a little rough for me in this town. So it's overall in the Philippines. So it's like we put out a lot of hard truth like you do. So you grow organically, we grow organically. People report us every day. They try to take us down. They say things, they don't say things. So it's kind of a rough game out there, but it's, all's fair and I guess love and war right now.
So
Oh,
I'm
it's
gonna
You know
fair in
jump
what?
love
in.
and YouTube.
Yeah.
Can I jump in for a second? Um, listen, you know, as far as what's happened, if you are that dumb to do such a thing that happened in front of a bunch of people, okay, then whatever happened to you, whatever trouble you get into, then you made the choice.
Yep.
And I look at things as I try to be good to everybody. I try to be respectful to everybody. And any channel I go to, I'm respectful. I follow their rules. If they say no names, they mean no names. Okay. But if you're an idiot and you're doing dumb stuff where everybody in the world can see it, it doesn't have to be on YouTube. Everybody in the world that has cameras now,
You mean
YouTube
like
cameras,
stupid
whatever.
games get stupid
Right.
prizes?
So as far as it goes, this man made the choice. He chose to do this. He knows that he's got a baby on the way. And yeah, I do. I like Heidi. I do feel for the lady. But you know what? Again,
Yeah.
it's words. Are you seriously going to hurt somebody over words? You come to the Philippines to retire, not to get kicked out, not to be able to get blacklisted, to come out.
If
So
for
he
every
chose
word
this,
that I
and
knew
that's it.
vloggers were saying about me, or the other channels and all of that, or people in town as I walked by them, I'd have been in jail a year ago if I'd have responded and took care of business. That's just where it's at. It's just something you can't do, and I've known that since I've entered the country. Therefore, it wouldn't even been a possibility. That is for sure. And with that baby on the way, that's who I feel for, because it possibly could be her that's going to suffer the most on that. That is for
Oh
sure.
yeah.
And she's got, and I'm sorry, somebody got offended when I said that she may or might be afraid of him at this point.
No,
If
I
George did
believe.
that to
Yeah,
somebody in
she's
town,
scared.
I'd be afraid even at my size. And everybody knows I'm 6 foot and plus size now. I've already put a whole channel out there on how big I am. It doesn't matter. I would still be afraid of George's actions if he did that. It's
Yeah, I
something
mean, you wouldn't want to go meet a guy who likes to gouge people's eyes out. Like, nah.
that just,
So
they were
Andy,
talking
that
about
that
that
really
Kelsey
happened,
guy
right?
that plays football, okay, for the Kansas City Chiefs. They're showing that he's more and more aggressive, like with the coach, and they have that all up there, and they're talking about Taylor Swift. I'm just bringing up something's in the news, and I know that think about that. If she knows he was that aggressive with the old girlfriend and cheating and all of that, there's a good chance that that's all going to carry over someday to their relationship. There's a good chance. Cheater, always a cheater. Usually somebody that's violent like that. There's a possibility this will all carry over, and so it's got to be in the back of her mind. She's very meek, very very kind, very very petite. And Mark Thornton's what, 4 times her size, 3 times her size,
Oh
maybe. It's
yeah, he's a
scary.
violent man.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm twice George's size, just in height, size, and everything. And it's like, if I start acting out and punch somebody in the face here, he would have to think she could turn on me tomorrow. So it just wouldn't be a pretty picture. So
That that's the thing. If he shows that in public, he has no problem gouging someone's eyes in public in the street outside. He has no problem whatsoever hitting somebody, sucker punching. Imagine what he does indoors with his wife.
behind closed
That's
doors, what might happen? Yeah,
You
that's
come out here, you chose to say that you assaulted the guy, and you came out here and let everybody around the world know what you did, and on top of all the people down there that's seen you.
that's going to
Andy
make the
seen you
people
type
around him
simple.
think. Yeah,
I'm just
I
saying,
know I
like,
would avoid him. That's
I again, I agree, Heidi, with you guys. Like since like yesterday, I feel for for her, and in some ways, like I feel bad for him. He must have some kind of mental problems. And if I'm wrong, I'll admit it. I'll come back up here and I'll say, hey, I was wrong. I'll apologize as a man. But your actions, Andy seen you with a whole bunch of other people, live and in person. You chose to do this, so now you can choose to figure either run or deal with the consequences. So if he wants to cry and complain, well, oh well, you chose to bring it out here to everybody. So I don't care if Heidi or George or Andy or somebody else wants to talk about it, because you're the one that brought it out here. If you don't want things brought out here, then don't open your mouth on a live stream.
exactly.
Yep, that was like the Campbell channel when I mentioned the different things that he was doing, because usually we only bring something up that's like relevant to what we have going on. I have my own incident, but it didn't turn violent and I wasn't going to. But it was also that you're in another third world country, you're in another country. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter what type, but in this type of country, all kinds of possibilities could actually happen. And I mean, going losing his YouTube channel, at that 1-2% is the least he would have to worry about right now. But there's just so much to learn not to do. And I guess we would like to thank Mark Thornton and all of his interviews to know what not to do. So that's scary.
He doesn't take his own advice. So,
It was
yeah,
kind
he
of like
doesn't take
someone
his.
just mentioned Frog. You call him Frog or Rike, and I was like,
Uh huh.
okay, I give you that credit, Andy. But he exposed himself. People are blaming you for putting his crap out
You
there.
know,
He exposed himself.
this is the thing. Yeah, exactly. The channel is built on clips that they set themselves. Every time I say something, there's always a clip. It's
Right.
funny how there's
You
people
have the
commenters
receipt.
saying, "Oh, they're gonna get you for defamation." I'm like, there's the clip of him saying it. How is that defamation?
I
Yeah.
remember that, Andy. I remember when, again, they want to blame you. They want to blame you, Heidi, or George,
Yeah,
or somebody
I get a
else.
lot of blame
But
in this
who's the
town.
person that does it? It's the person that opens their mouth because they think that, oh, I'm Rico Suave. I can pick up all these little
Yeah.
teenage girls. Whatever. Whatever. We know what
True.
Rique's about. Again, I've been following you a long time, Andy, so I know.
Yeah,
Yep.
but that's the thing. I'm just wondering, like, yeah, if you don't want people to talk about you, don't put it out there. Like, for example, for me, I don't put my stuff out there, so there's really nothing to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Andy doesn't know child support. There's no debts. He has a house, a vehicle. Like, there's what else can you say? That I'm always making car videos. Like right now, I'm in my vehicle.
So
And then the
dangerous.
guy on the scooter, the troll on the scooter, he's oh, this guy is always in his car, but this guy has a cheap, little little scooter, in
Right.
living in a shack in an apartment. And then he's talking, oh, this guy, he's always in his house in a gated. There's my troll say he's in a gated community. Like, is that an insult? Like, I'm always in my car and in my house, like, there's really, that's why I don't put out things. And I always double check my videos as well. I after I release them and I do the editing, it will take me hours, because sometimes I do say some crazy stuff. My
Mm-hmm.
videos would be like 40 minutes, half hour long, but of all the stuff that I would say and my rants, I would cut it down to like 10 minutes or 8
Right.
minutes. Yeah, so like, that's the thing. Like, if you don't want people to talk about you, just don't put it out there. Like, for me, I don't put those things out there. Or like, I did a video where some people would say it's blackface, right? Like, uh,
Oh, geez.
doing the charcoal mask, taking it out. So what? It's just a charcoal mask, like
Yeah,
things like
people
that. Like,
see what they're wanting to see or just to start something. I always say it means you
exactly.
made it to the top, even if we don't have these great numbers. When we get these troll messages, like when I first started, and we've been here for 3 years officially, I think about a year into it, it bothered me to some extent because I'm just super sensitive. I'm a woman going through my own things. Now I just sit around and laugh about it. It doesn't, none of it only the first year that I was here did it really get to me on the trolls and everything, because I took it hypersensitive. It's just where I was. But now it's just like I told George, we just delete the emails because we know they're the same people. It's the same, it comes from the same places, same location. We can see the areas they come from. And it's just like they say the same thing. And so now we just officially realize that it just means you made it to the top. When you have haters, doesn't matter how big, how small. If you're just an individual, it just means that you made it there, and those are just words. It's really where they're at on that. So
Yeah, for me, like, I don't really. Before, I used to be on social media with subscribers and stuff, but
mhm,
now, and that's the thing. I never done emails because they're so anonymous. Like, I would do Facebook messages or something like that. At least you can see their pictures and you see who you're talking with. Yeah,
right.
emails I never do. I never gave an email out. Um, Also, I've done, in order to reach out my customers. I mean, my people, my members. I've done a Discord group. At least they are already verified, and I already know who they are.
Yeah, I
That's the
think that's
one
why
thing.
NYK does that a lot. Yeah. Yeah, we have a Discord. We just haven't really gotten into it. We signed up for mics and different things, but we haven't really gotten into. No, I kind of agree on that because there's a lot of like faceless trolls and the ones that'll actually be in there, but they won't show themselves. So that's why I was telling George we ought to make them actually expose themselves if they want to come into these panels like this. So they actually will show themselves and just be face to face. And for me, the biggest thing is not that somebody really hurt me, because I know I'm big. I know I'm crazy. I know all of these things. You ain't telling me anything I don't know. It's the keyboard warrior side that more likely they are junk on their other end. Like they're probably big, they're this, and they won't face me to tell, what they really want to say. be a man, be a woman, and face up to me and say what you got to say. And if you're going to say it and come up in the room, then they can at least come in here and say, hey. And it also gives them a voice. Tell me why. Things get settled, and then people get a better understanding of what's going on. Like George said, that just means they got some other personal problems, and we kind of go through why people actually do it. But I think it's because they just really love you there, Andy. They love
Yeah,
me.
that's the thing, that they really have they have a lot of personal problems. Like I've searched some of my trolls. Some of them staying in the U.S. like forever. They're never gonna come back to the
Right.
Philippines. They've probably been in, back in the '90s or something like that.
Right.
Living on Social Security. Other trolls I've seen, they're living in shacks. They're living in, some crazy shack somewhere, like in some certain islands and places like that. Um, I've seen those trolls, and like I really don't care about it. Like I am I am considered a troll just because I'm actually putting their information out there, not really doxing. Like maybe like
Yeah, but
people
sometimes
who
you
deserve
have
it, like
to.
Rike.
Yeah, sometimes you have to dox to continue to tell what people may say you don't know, or like one guy was like, "Don't even put your comments up, okay, if you don't know whether they're a fact or not." And we're like, we had like 300 people in our room yesterday. We're not going to stop and fact check every comment. It still gave people a voice. Come to find out, the guy's a British guy, whole different guy. He's got his own channel that's at 5-600, and he repeated word for word the comments he left. And it's like most of them are other YouTubers that are just, they create those channels just for, just for trolling and whatever. But yeah, sometimes we dox people. I think a lot of people dox these people. You don't
And
think CNN and a bunch of others don't?
the reason I do it is because when they don't have any shame, like to shame them. Usually when somebody's ashamed, they would just stop, or you know stop making videos or change their narratives or something like that. But guys
Mhm.
like Ricky, like Gio, like all these other guys that I've been exposing before, they're shameless. They're probably sociopaths because they keep the same mentality, some
Yeah, it's
crazy
true.
thing, and they have no feelings whatsoever. It takes some kind of person that has no feelings in order
It's
to
like
not feel
heartless,
ashamed
in
of all
my
the stuff that is
opinion.
being put about them.
Yeah, they must have none at all, because I told George the other day, I wish I could be that heartless like some of the people in
Exactly.
Hollywood or here, or people that are just like with no, because if so, I feel I could go a lot farther. I could, but it's just not in me. It's just not in me, as much as people think based on my size and the way I talk. It's just not in me to be that type of person. So yeah, I don't know why and how they don't, but they do continue.
Well, yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's like apathy is the worst type of emotion because it's a lack of emotion, which means they don't care. They just don't care.
Hmm?
Hey Andy, did you see that guy that burnt down that graffiti cartoon studio in Japan? I guess it happened 2 years ago, but they just had him in the news.
Nope.
These Japanese judges sat there. I just seen it this morning. It was in the news. They sat there with stone cold, no looks. And I mean, we're talking, I've never seen, except for Queen Elizabeth and some of the guards that sit there at Buckingham Palace. They sat there so stone cold, like no feelings whatsoever when they gave him, he got the sentence, he got, so he got his sentence, and he's not getting life. That's for sure. But like 63 people perished in that
Wow.
fire. He burned a building down. I think he was mad. So the guy went in there, kind of went postal. But I'm gonna tell you what, the looks on, there was like three of them that were sitting on the panel. And I mean, I've never seen such a, there was no apathy. I mean, it was just boom. And I was like, their eyes didn't even show it. And I'm like, wow. So they're pretty serious in Japan. I'm gonna tell you right now, they're pretty serious in Japan. So if
It
I ever
it
go there,
does
I'm only
take a
gonna go
lot
there
of
for 2 days,
fortitude in
mind my
order to
business.
keep. It takes a lot of fortitude to keep that face, and that's
It's
and
like,
keep
like
that
they have in
serious stone
Russia.
cold face. it does take a lot of fortitude
Is
and
that
a
Putin that
lot of
keeps the same
emotions.
look on his face, or Gorbachev? There's another one of
Exactly.
those Russian guys
It takes a
that
toll
you
on
won't
people.
see none, no matter what. It's like I think they get them Botox injections, and they just sit there like this.
Exactly. That's why, like, you see a lot of U.S. soldiers like that with PTSD or whatever, because during when they're deployed in Iraq or other places, they have to keep that stone cold face. They don't have to
Yeah,
show any fear, even though they are scared shitless. They have to show it.
yeah, man.
Show a face that it's confidence. Um, a confident face, and it
Right.
takes a lot of emotion, like one after they get back from the mission, like I had that feeling before. It's like you start like either
Yeah.
breaking down or start feeling back emotions back in your mind, like the things that I've done during this mission, during this time when it, it's crazy. It does take. That's why there's a lot of soldiers with like PTSD like that now, because they have to keep those emotions in check. Like it does take a toll.
Yeah.
But
We
guys
have
like
some
guys like Rike and guys like Gio, guys like Mark Thornton, they have
like no,
zero apathy.
kind of like they
Exactly.
would have no soul inside based on their acts. I mean, not that I know them personally.
It's more unapologetic. Yeah.
George is going to read a comment that just came
Because
in, and
actually, although it's half of it is funny and half of it is more serious.
yeah,
Um, it would be more directed to you, Andy, only because you know more of the financial situation. So Daniel
Okay.
says, so are we making odds and taking bets as to when Mark might be arrested? But here's the real question is, but if he has cash to spread around, he may never be arrested. Do you really think?
yeah, there's been many accusations in our comments, emails, and now several in this live stream that thinks he can buy his way out,
He
which
cannot.
he wouldn't have
He,
financed that car if he could. I mean, if he could buy his way out, there would be no financing.
he cannot get his way out. He's already squatting at the apartment that he's in.
Hmm.
So there's one. Nobody financed him for getting a vehicle. The only reason he got the Geely car was because it was the only company that financed him at 35%. Imagine at 35%.
Hmm.
That's yeah. If he had better credit, better salary, or something like that, then he could have got it way lower, way lower. But no, he had to go for the lowest of the low, which
Right.
means that is monthly payment. Yeah, monthly
So
salary. Of course, he has to eat.
Yeah.
right. So I know I understand that 35% APR. Is it true? It is an 8-year loan.
Mhm.
Is it a 6 to 8 year loan? Is he really got it financed that far out?
Yeah, he has to
Probably.
finance it.
Yeah.
But
So usually it's about a
people usually, if
5 year.
they had money, they would try to avoid the fees and get the lowest, or try to pay cash for it. Not pay cash, but at least they have to give the lowest of the low in order to pay out the vehicle.
Right. Somebody was talking about that the other day about in the US, the way people overfinance and they make fun of shoes or cars and all the overfinancing, trying to look like the bigger, badder one. And that happens a lot here in the Philippines. And we've had people say how broke we are and all that. And I'm like, yeah, we might be broke, but we're happy. And we know that. So thank you very much.
Well, we're
But we
not
don't
in
go
debt
finance.
either.
Correct.
We're
We're
not in
not
debt.
in debt. And I would rather use a grab. I mean, his family just gave us a car recently for the holiday, but I would rather have went around on our e-trike, which actually the viewers did help us with, or actually use grabs and actually finance something out for, because we could have took that exact money and put it down and been 35% in interest on a vehicle, but we know we ain't got that kind of money. But it sounds like neither does Mark. And so, but a man of that stature at this point, he already put his cards out there, what he had when he arrived. He's always putting out what he has, and it doesn't, and that's even if he can't. But I don't think all the money in the world would buy him out of what's getting ready to happen.
Two cases from two separate people. Nah, it costs money. Usually, it will probably be like around 50K for each case to get a retainer fee or something like that.
Yes.
for a court,
Yep.
and that'll be like, let's say, 100,000 per case. Well, 100,000 for all both of them. Of course, he has to pay the motion fees. He has to pay appearance fees. He has a baby on the way, and that's expensive too. Like for
Oh,
me,
right.
when my wife was giving pregnancy, it was around. Well, this is 2014. It at a medium hospital, middle class, was 25K. It was 25K. So then, of course, there's diapers. There's all these OBG, and he has to pay for. Yeah, I feel sorry for the lady
That's
for
where
sure.
my feelings are
She's gonna
coming
be a
in.
single mother soon. I guarantee it. And it's the guy is not in the best of health.
Yeah, that's another thing.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of babies, I had a friend who just had their baby delivered, and he told me his costs 100K for delivery of the baby.
Yeah, which is two, three,
and
yeah, about
whoever likes that
2,000
girl
US.
from the video, I know there's some pervs out there that they just watch it for her. Well, it's time to make your move, buddy.
Right?
Yeah, take it out. But
Yeah.
then, of course, I had to
Yeah.
pay more for the birth certificate, the days, the certain days that she was in the hospital for 3 days, and you have to pay more fees, medical fees, and all that stuff. A baby's expensive in the Philippines, man. Like people, I don't even know how they do it here.
Right?
Might use that
Yeah,
PhilHealth.
you got to buy formula. Formula for the box is probably 3,000 pesos, and the formula is only gonna last you like a few weeks. The whole box.
And diapers are the price of US diapers because we have
Yes.
like a godchild over here officially. And we took her some diapers like when she was born, and I'm like, holy crap, it's still US prices for those here too. So no wonder they use the washable Pampers and they've got like those insert things. And I'm like, well, yeah, I get that part of it. But yes, and there is the inflation, of course, that's hitting the Philippines. People don't realize more and more
Oh,
things are
it's
going
big.
up over here. There's a lot of guys
It's
that are
big.
homeless now because they didn't count on that. They came in on the same deal some others have, and we all face that when you're on, Social Security, part-time income and all that. We could all fall through the cracks any day. And Mark was really on a tight wire at that point. Now he just cut one end of his tight wire, man.
It's really bad, the inflation. Like, for example, when I was here in Angeles City, the bar fines were around 1.2, 1.5, the max. Um,
Yeah.
I was here. The chicken in 2010 was around 120 pesos for a whole chicken. Now it's around 250,
About
around 250
360.
for a
Yeah, they
chicken.
can
So
be
it's
up to
almost double the
300 and
price.
something. Mhm.
Exactly.
That's
But now
insane.
the bar
Yeah.
fines are like 4, 5, 5,000. So it's
Right.
doubling, triple the price.
Yeah, I mean,
Also
yeah.
hotels, cheap hotels
Mhm.
were around 700 pesos at the time. Now a minimum place is 1.5 for like a cheap
1 5
band
or
room or something.
2 if you yeah, and people are shocked. The ones that we talked to during the pandemic, same thing. It's like they got here, they were here pre-pandemic or back in the day. They're shocked. They are in shock. And a lot of people are talking about like the comparison of, what you're getting for the buck too. And we're talking some of it's bottom of the barrel, not, not trying to insult, but that includes bar fines and that's some basics. You're not
Yeah.
expecting that good loving
Eh,
for 5,000 pesos either.
No more cheap bar fines, huh?
yeah, that's one thing I never understand, why there's so many women out there, but these guys choose the bar girl life and all this.
Yeah, man,
It's
the
so
bar girl.
easy.
Well, they
Like
got to
if an
make money
ugly guy
too.
like me can actually do it and to get all these girls, yeah, imagine these other guys. They can get easily for free, because I've in the bar, like I've seen guys who are younger, more fit, nice looking dudes, man. But they are paying and paying and into that lifestyle. They're simping for these girls and getting their hearts broken. And I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's like so many girls
but
out
yeah.
there, and they would, and again, I don't care how somebody makes their money. If they got to do that, they got to do that. I know somebody uh, today, during lunch, somebody left a message on my channel, because I was ticked off, and I told George and Heidi yesterday why I was ticked off, because you know what, we're guests as foreigners, and and yeah, it's some Americans that are causing these problems, and obviously the one is, but they come in and they said, well, you're like, I mean, if you're gonna come up with something, you're gonna call me gay or something, like why don't you call me something that's worth my while? Gay
Right.
is just idiotic. I mean, like, it's my opinion. I don't have an opinion otherwise of what these guys did. I don't know these guys, but when you brought it out, I did hear you. I went, for some reason, it even popped up in my live feed, and I heard him say it. So you're gonna be mad at me as an American because you chose to go to a place where you wanted to retire and
Right.
cause
And it
this?
just looks bad for the rest of us on top of that.
It does. So I mean, that's like whatever. Who cares with this childish like stuff? But like, I would never talk about somebody's woman. But you know what? Again, your woman. That's you should have thought about this stuff, man. Like
Yeah.
you just don't care, man.
That's just keeping it
Words.
real. Because I got a bunch of people that were just butthurt and offended that I actually said that, what might happen if he's like that in public and that she might be without him. And it kind of just came around like all the way through. And I'm like, but that's not, that's just saying what may happen, all that. And it's, but it is her that's on the line.
Right.
That's for sure. There's a
But you
lot,
didn't.
he
But you're
has a
not.
lot to lose.
But you're not.
Right.
But you're not doing anything. You guys for days have been saying you're neutral. You've asked these people. All right. You have even said flat out. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks of Justin or Dexter or whatever it is. Okay. The whole point is that Mark brought it out. He admitted stuff, and
It's,
what are
it's
we not supposed to do? You brought it out here, so we're going to talk about it.
it's like a train wreck or something, or it's like an accident, a car accident, right? And you're
Yeah.
going down like when we were in Tampa, and I used to drive like every day through Tampa on the whatever. There was always an accident, and if there's an accident, what's the chances of me not looking as it goes by? You're gonna look every time.
Oh, okay. Mm.
Yep.
And people are going to be mad about it. Don't matter what it is. People are going to say, Mark wasn't wrong. People are going to say it's the other people's fault. Like, it's a he said, she said, but in factual, I mean, you've had a couple people. Obviously, one decided to delete videos, whatever. That's his choice. But it doesn't matter if Andy's seen it or or that guy that was on here, Philip, if he's seen it. Okay. The fact of the matter is there was a whole bunch of people. That place is crowded. Obviously, it's
Yep.
crowded. I've never been there, but
Yeah.
I've seen videos, and you're like having people stand outside, I guess, like just to be able to try to get in. Like, it's crazy. Can't say that nobody's seen you. Camera's seen you. CCTV's seen you. So it's like the proof's in the pudding, man.
Yeah, that is true.
Now, just real quick again, because a lot of people are wondering about why are these guys not. I'm not pointing out anybody or calling out anybody in particular, but it's just an observation, whether here in the Philippines or in the U.S. As an observation, guys tend to argue or fight, or women for that matter, will fight and argue over the partner or potential partner that's a 304. It's just somehow that, it's like moths drawn to a flame. Most guys tend to fight over a 304. They won't fight over a good woman. They'll fight over a 304. And some of you guys are wondering, like, why are these people in the Maggetti fighting over these particular type of women?
Can you tell me? Can you tell me, George, what a 304 is? And I don't want to say the
Okay,
wrong
a
thing. here
304 is the number
He's an
304
prostitute?
is in the old days. Remember when you had a calculator
Oh,
and
yeah,
you
yeah,
type in
yeah. I remember
hello?
those. Okay.
Yeah, so you
Okay,
type
I
in
got it.
304 on the old calculators and flip it over. It spells a certain word.
HOE, just so the YouTube algorithm doesn't catch what that is. Bar girl. Well, hey, not all of them are that,
Not all
but
of them are that either.
well, if they're actually getting bar fined and some other things, it's
Well,
possible.
a bar girl
man after man after
well,
man.
in all fairness to certain bar girls, keyword certain.
I guess they don't have to be.
Correct. There's some bar girls that are just waitresses, and that's all they are. In all fairness, there are different levels of bar girl.
No, there is, but if you're talking about like, I'm talking about an official real bar girl. But hey, some of them may not be freaks and the whole nine
The
yards.
good old days of
But
bar
anyways,
girl.
that's a different. That's a whole different level on that one.
No, they all go out. No, they all go out. There's no, even the most unsuspecting person. Like I would test out Mama Sans. I'll be like, all right, let's
There
go
it
out. She'll be like, yeah, sure. Or I get ready. Then I'm like, no, I'm just joking. Like they're
Right.
like waitresses.
Right.
They would go out. Everybody would go out. Everybody there, no matter what they say, because of course they have to be bar dancers first, and then eventually the waitress is more like a promotion deal because they get the tips.
Real quick, I'm going to mention 007 Matrix. He said Paul Old Dog is famous there, but he kind of knows how to handle himself. That's why he's the Godfather Mafia over there. But a lot of people that are like new to the game, we've been watching him for a few years. He wasn't always like the cool, calm, collective guy he was. He used to do, and this is nothing against Paul. He used to do some odd content, including Baby May and her friends and girlfriends. Used to line them up, used to
Oh
show
yeah,
them to his viewers, and he almost primped some of them in front of people. Okay. And I'm not saying anything bad. I talked to Baby May on Facebook and, we have her, we're signed up for her. But what I'm saying is people always, they just see him like kind of now. And like I said, I get people say things about different channels and everything, but there was a point that he wasn't as well put together as he is now. But that's like any celebrity in Hollywood, that is for sure. Or other pages or whatever. We've refined ourselves and brought it down to a certain way. It's, we all have some sort of past. They're just not looking at his older videos to see what he used to do for his channel. And when we got here 3 years ago, I think he was sitting at 18,000 or something. But during the pandemic, he really grew, and then he started presenting a lot of help and his life, and he would put her in the live streams a lot. And now he's just kind of simplified it down to some interviews, and it's kind of, a lot of people don't even know like they're all connected, like Geo and him and Mark,
yeah.
and they used to hang out. They used to all live in the same complex. I believe they all three lived there at one point when they all had gotten here several years ago. And there's just all kinds of side stuff I don't know about.
Yeah, they're all connected. Those people. Usually, Rike was the first one to bring out Geo. I think either Rike or Geo was the one to bring out Old Dog New Tricks. Then Old Dog New Tricks brought out Mark Thornton, like that. So it's like a chain. Then Mark Thornton brought out Critter Hunter. It's a chain.
Yeah, it was kind of like a presentation, like you'd seen some of the other ones. I think Monty Crew was one that said he's the one that discovered him and told him to vlog. Now he's got a channel that I think sits at 10 or 11,000. Monty Crew's the one that had the stroke and has the family, and he used to own the business, and he let people take over the business. They screwed him over on that. That was something else. And I think that guy even came over here at one point. But there's all kinds. That was kind of a sad story in itself. So he's been doing his thing over there. No, we watch them all. It's just I really am not taking like a it's nothing personal on saying Old Dog used to have a different type of show. And there was a point in time that I just would stop watching him because that's all it was. So that's kind of like us. Some people feel that I'm bitching all the time. A lot of people don't want to hear the truth because I, sound like their aunt or their mother, or I'm mothering, or I'm picking on George, or whatever it is. There's just points and times where people watch and don't watch. So it's a, but he used to do other content. So.
No. Actually, I mean, I'm not picking on anybody again. I
Yeah,
remember
pick
Old
on-
Dog when he showed the couch with his little tiny rooster.
Yeah.
That was a rarity. I remember we used to watch him, and when he rarely sat on that couch with his rooster in the background.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
There's been different things.
It was
on there.
basically Girls Gone Wild Philippines.
Yeah.
There was a point. Yeah, you used to have nothing but her friends over all the time. And I'm like, genius. I can't hate on that. Kind of like when you would see the gossip on the channels, or what they would call gossiping. And it's like people don't realize that, we've been called like clout chasers. We've been called that we're just, stealing content or doing this, and that. I'm like, would you guys like me to sit around in a bikini all day or something? Or, what would you guys like us to actually put out? Because we still do the expat help. We still do all that. But I mean, I don't know what it is that, we've always kind of just been raw and real out there and just kind of covered a mix of things.
Well, in this type of genre, in this type of industry, it's no different than when they pick or slander.
It's rough here in the Philippines.
What more people are more aware of, like Joe Rogan.
Mhm.
He gets a lot of flack, and so does.
Yeah.
Remember Howard Stern? That was pre-internet.
Right, but Howard Stern and Joe Rogan aren't going to sit there and cover. Well, they might cover types of pizzas, but what I'm saying is that we know everybody, like our YouTube manager said, that they wanted us to start sampling other stuff. This just came from her 4 days ago, 3 days ago. And that she's like, we'd like to see you go to restaurants more and this and do that, the things that some people, and I'm like, you do realize them don't bring a lot of numbers. We do those type of content for like our basic people. But there's no way we could just sit around and do those all the time and stop the live streams where most of our people come in. And if it's going on, we're going to cover it. So I'm kind of like downtown Julie Brown, man.
I
This
think
is
you guys
downtown
do
Julie
great.
Brown.
I think you guys do great. Again, you guys do great lives. And you guys do some great, videos when you went to Jollibee's.
It's a change up.
One
So
that you went to. So
yeah, we like the change up. And we used to carry a camera around with us. We used to have content. There was that time where we did nothing but a live stream every day and did videos. And then I started breaking them down. And then me and George was like, we were just tied to our cameras, tied to editing. It's not always that easy. And then we're like, we did come here to retire and do us and to do this. And we like doing it, but you get kind of limited on the content. So, but yeah. So how is the family there, Andy?
It's doing pretty good. Everybody's back in the U.S. I've actually got some family here now. They came in because I got in-laws and my brothers. It's like my family's like intermarried with other families here in the Philippines like that, so it's pretty weird. Cousins. So and they're doing roundup meetups, and I guess now we have trips going to. Tomorrow we're doing Boracay. Then we're going
nice.
to. Yeah, then we're going to. I already went to El Nido last week, but we're going to Honda Bay.
Is it
In
really
Puerto
busy
Princesa.
there? Has it been really busy there? Somebody said it's like getting super packed there. You got to plan the trips accordingly.
Where?
You said you're at Palawan?
El Nido?
Oh, El Nido,
El Nido? Yeah, it is kind of busy, but not really crazy like they say. It's pretty good actually. I liked it. It wasn't. There's people in the beginning, but every person they have different tours. There's tour A, tour B, tour C, tour D, and they go at separate different times. And no, you don't really see it busy. Actually, on a Friday night, I was there on a Friday night. Half the businesses were probably at 25% capacity, and the rest were kind of empty. So I don't think there's a lot of people, especially on a Friday.
wow.
And I really need to put out those videos as well.
I think there will be more people on a Friday.
Not a lot of
Actually,
people go out on a Friday, and there was mainly a lot of tourists, like foreign couples, Europeans, like that. Not sexpat tourists, like actual tourists. And it was great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Andy, somebody's got a question here for you.
Go
It
ahead.
says, do you think Tim K used his wife to funnel money during the typhoon relief? Okay. And Tim K avoided taxes by using his wife. And looks like he kept most of the money. Something about his quality of life, definitely. So
Okay. I believe that Tim did funnel a lot of money because you got this 18-year-old, 19-year-old girl who already had her bank account, which in the province, if you see, I bet you even her father doesn't even have a bank account. So she already has a bank account set up, a BPI bank account, and it's more, I think BDO or BPI. I think BPI. It's more requirements than BDO. Also, she had a PayPal. Not a lot of Filipinos have PayPal unless they're being coached by an American or something like that.
right.
Gcash, everything. He set it up, obviously. He put in some money, obviously, and there was controlling the money. So, yeah, I believe it. I believe that he used it because they also got a cease and desist letter. They got one of those investigation letters.
Mm-hmm.
And that is way more than enough. And then after that, they stopped. During that time when they got all that money, somehow they got brand new laptops, brand like iMacs, iPads, iPhone earbuds, all the latest gadgets.
It's shown up.
Yeah, brand new vehicle. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, really, are you trying to? Yeah.
Yes, real quick, Andy. Sorry, it just popped through my head. I can remember from personal viewer that I was signed up for Chrissy, and it popped in during the Odette. It was her sitting on the bed with an older laptop, and she was all by herself. They were running separate live streams asking for Odette money, but it was the way she was like this, like she was watching him and she was being coached. I'm saying it's what it looked like. I'm not saying he was. But
They have
that was
scripts.
from my observance that she was just kind of, and I was like, I hope that's what they're doing is what, I was telling George is that a lot of viewers came through and said that also, that it looked like she was being coached or something, but they had
She
almost
is
done
coached.
simultaneously live streams on the Odette
She-
money.
She is coached, obviously. There was even a video where he uploaded, and Chrissy is saying why I love my husband, and then she's reading the script, and then in the background, Tim K is like, "Oh, you got to read that again. You said it this way." So, yeah, like obviously he wrote the script, and he made it very articulate, or else the way she talks, like in some of her videos, is very different from where she talks in the Tim K channel.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I remember one time I messaged Chrissy and I told her about Tim and all this other stuff, the hookers and all this, and then she, in her profile, responded in one of my videos. I showed it in perfect English, way better than mine, even though I got a master's degree and everything. She has a full content with paragraphs and commas and everything, all about leave my husband alone and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, what? Where did she how did she write this good? I know attorneys here that they don't even write this good. Like, yeah.
I coach George on George the Cat Lady YouTube channel. I coach him over there.
He has a channel.
No, we actually have 3, but there's another one we took the pets and we put them on another one. It's
just a cat channel.
Yeah, it's called George the Cat Lady.
George the
I
Cat
coach him
Lady.
over there.
Wow.
George the Cat Lady. He has snack. He has milk.
So I'm gonna jump.
Yeah.
Jump
So,
down into
and also the
chat.
thing, there's other guys. There's like another YouTuber out there. I think his name is ONLY Expat and stuff. He donated money, and he was asking Tim K for a receipt. And He never got a receipt. He gave money, but he never got a receipt. And part of the okay, let's say this: I know people in the DSWD, and in order to get, it takes like 2-3 weeks, but it takes months to get a permit. Like the process takes 2-3 weeks, but it takes months to get the permit. So
right, that it requires, yes.
they have to. They just, after the typhoon hit, they just already started asking for donations. And if you see in one of my community posts, the day before Odette, I said, "Watch when this guy is gonna ask for money," and I said that. 12 hours later, after Odette on the internet came back, oh, we need donations to help these people, and bought tin sheets, bought rice, and they used. There was another Filipino family that they were giving out more stuff than them. They were actually giving money. They were actually giving food, and they made it seem like it was they made it seem bigger because it was a collaboration, but they made it like it was them. And then one of the ladies was giving out money they made it seem like she was only just giving out the money. That's it. So appearances, they gotta have receipts. They gotta do full the paperwork. I've seen the paperwork. It's a lot of stuff. And the
No,
girl
it is. And
that
it's not easy to get it either.
yeah, it's not easy, especially for an individual. Mostly it has to be like an NGO thing certified. If it's individual, it will take so many months as well. Also, family is not really cannot get part of the funds, and they gave a lot of the funds to the family as well. I have screenshots where the family, the cousins, the aunts, they're getting, thank you, Chrissy K, thank you, for, and they're showing pictures of the donations that they're giving to the, and they're not. It's not supposed to be that way. Every donation has to have a receipt. And the cease and desist letters that I got, you can actually open up the case. Any Filipino can. I mean, if you would do me, we can do some collab with it. I mean, you can maybe ask around for. I mean, I would pay for an attorney, and maybe if you want, you can say, I would like to see what's going on with this case, because there's a case number on the thing, and it can be opened back up because it was supposed to be investigated, and they didn't investigate it, so it was negligent of the DSWD. So it got lost in the sauce in somebody's desk. I think maybe you know why. So, but it can be reopened again because the order was issued, and any field agent, because the girl I know, she is a field agent, but she only works in Pampanga. She does
that's
all
right.
over.
They told us, okay, this is what they told me and Heidi. Again, not naming names or anything. They told us in order for that to happen, you have to show up in their field office.
Yes. Oh, really?
Yes.
Because what she said is like in any field office or something, but the field agent, of course, doesn't have the authority to. But yeah, if it's in their field office, I can fly you over there, George.
Yeah. So yeah, basically that's what they said, that we have to fly over there in their field office or wherever the case should be. We have to physically be there. Basically, that's what they told us.
Does sound like a plan. The reason I cannot do it is because, of course, they have to put my name, and there has to be a legitimate reason, like an affidavit. So that's why I'm Andy Omar. They cannot. Yeah.
No, I got you.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I almost said your name. There's a million of you. There's a million of me here.
Yeah, so that's why and but they have to have a legitimate reason on why, and it can be opened up at any time. I have the control numbers and everything. I think I did put it on one of my shorts. It can be reopened unless there was obviously no closure to it whatsoever. So yeah.
Is there a statute of limitations?
I don't think so. She said no.
Oh,
She said it's already the order to investigate. So it has not been investigated yet, so it's okay.
technically, it's an open case. Technically,
Yeah,
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, Roy said further down before the typhoon, Tim K was down on his luck after the typhoon. He was living life of Riley. He said
True,
brand
right?
new car, even if the finance is a brand new car, he would still need a percentage down. And yeah, I figured it was in payment. But here's the thing, it was so obvious when the vloggers were asking for money like that. And then all of a sudden, some of them came up. There was the Ahern family was another one. The Aherns, like 3 years ago, they were living in nothing. Like they were living in it was like a squatter area looking like, and they were living in a basement part, and then
you're talking about the hollow block house.
hollow block house, and then a year later they own a production company, and they had all this stuff coming in during that time frame. Now they got a modeling agency. Whatever house they were in, they went out in the country and built a new one. All kinds of stuff started happening with the Ahern family, and then all of a sudden they're just like, I think they're just like there right now. But
Yeah,
there was a
they
point
lost the
in time
lawsuit.
there was a time um during that I started putting up a link or two that led to other places that were collecting money, but we never asked for money. Like there was just no way, because I knew there were all kinds of rules. And but
It wasn't ours. It wasn't ours.
right, so I actually removed the link because I wasn't even sure at that point. And then
Yeah.
it was inside the YouTube channel. I said, nope, they're going to think that's going directly
Yeah,
into our
they'll
bank.
think that it
Going
wasn't
to
our
my
It
link.
was in there for like a day or two.
Right, and we took it
And
down because like no, it's not ours, so might as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we were on that part. But I was like, no, I knew better than that, and the permits it would require. And, even though he has the tax licensing, his business license, he's registered to do so much online. I said, no, I said, that still requires permits and takes a long time to get it. Then I looked into it because there was other projects we wanted to do. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna pass on all of that. Just too many legalities. You can get the short term ones, the long term ones. I'm like, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like he was living like in squalor, like especially when it came down to during the pandemic. Like you seen his quarantine videos, right? Um,
mhm.
he didn't have anything like a fan or nothing. Like any normal person, if they were in quarantine, they would bring their nice stuff in, like a TV. They bring in their Netflix. This guy basically had the basics. I know that I've seen photos of how he's lived, and in my community tab, I published photos on how he lived, like in squalor. Tim K.
Yeah, I
Um,
seen some of those videos of him coming out of those hotel rooms after his where he's been drinking and stuff. And I seen all kinds of stuff I almost went blind on. That the other guy, what's the other vlogger? Mogman. So I
yeah.
seen a bunch of stuff that Mogman put up. I was like, it's like, dang, Mogman, he got him good on that one.
No, he actually confessed in the chat group that he pooped on his bed and all that stuff. He said that he paid the girl to get it out of his sight to clean it up or whatever.
Wow.
And during that time, what is this guy doing? Always traveling around alone with a brand new baby, and what is this guy going to Angeles City? That's when I first caught him, and that's when I first took the photos of him. I'm like, why is he flying from Clark? That is weird. Like he could have just flew from Manila, where supposedly it was his BA appointment, and he told Chrissy. This is according to the people there that know. According to the other guy, he said that he told Chrissy that he was going to the BA, and he has several different appointments for several different days. Definitely false, because during the BA they try to put appointments to you all during the same day. So he obviously lied to her about that. And there's people that have seen Tim K in Angeles City drinking. One time there was a guy that he told him like to watch his bill because he's coming back, and then he just left and went to his hotel and he never came back. So he left his bill. Uh, there was a lot of things happening. So, and always hanging around Phillies Avenue. Like, why Phillies when you got all those, you know, those
Right.
type of
women that, I don't get people that hang out at Phillies really. All that it has is like after 5 o'clock, it has nothing but lady boys
Yes.
and
Yes.
minor looking girls and women who are already crack holes. And yeah,
I'm there for the food.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't
Me
eat
and the
in
lady
Phillies.
boys. Are they really lady boys like I see in the movies and stuff? Or are they the full deal?
Oh, well, next time we drive by, pay more attention.
No, like when I walk through there, like these guys have fucking abs and they have veins on their freaking arms and everything. Like
No,
they
they're
just
So
have
then I can
lipstick
go over
on.
there and pose as a lady boy.
You just give George a wig and
Hey, what's up?
help let him make some money out there.
only on
Lady,
Thursdays.
start a
Only
new
on Thursdays.
channel, Lady Boy in Fields Avenue.
Right?
Lady boy, cat George, or
Right,
George the
there you
cat,
go.
lady boy.
George the
Yeah,
cat
I
lady,
didn't know.
George the lady, George the lady boy. No, I'm
Right?
joking.
No, yeah, I know. And I didn't know the VA had a branch here in Angeles City, apparently.
Oh no, they have a branch. Yeah, they don't have they have a branch in Manila in Rojas.
No, I know. I was just.
Hey, it would be
Yeah.
a good meetup. I can meet. Hey, maybe I can meet up with Chrissy. How about we do a wife swap with? We'll leave Chrissy here with George, and then I'll go sit with Tim K for a while.
There you
Oh
go.
shit!
There you go.
Say you going where, with who,
The
and
wife
what?
swap. That would be nice. That would be hilarious. Why don't you guys actually do that? Like
We
Right?
talked about
a
wife
video,
swaps.
like a wife swap video, like a show trailer.
Right.
Right?
Because I talked about that with the Campbell channel. I don't know if you're familiar with
Bruce
them.
Campbell and Rose.
Right. I said, we'll just bring Rose here and I'll go stay with David and see how that actually goes down. It either could go good or it could go south real quick. It just depends. Get me on a good day, bad day situation. But yeah, I think that would be interesting. No, you go stay with Tim K and I'm going to stay with Chrissy.
Well,
Talk about some corruption and yeah, they were just,
Yeah,
it's
what
kinda
would you
sick.
two talk about? I have no idea.
right?
I'm gonna
I
tell
mean,
her
he's
what
gonna talk
not
about
to
his fake
deal
military
with.
service. Like he doesn't like. Supposedly he's he's infantry and officer, but like the history that he gave out, the way that his medals and all that, it's lies. Like how can a man that actually got these awards don't even know the history behind it? Like it's weird.
Yeah. There's a lot of
So
guys that, as I'm to understand, there's a lot of men that do come here with that stolen valor and they walk around with fake jackets and shirts and I don't see who would want to do that. My family, there's a long history. Like all my aunts and uncles were in the wars and everything in Vietnam. And then a lot of family members. Brother was a Marine, sister was in the Army, Navy, a niece recently. So we have a lot of military. I just don't know who would want to sit around. Is that just to get the ladies or to, boast with the guys? Or what do you think that is, Andy?
I have no idea, honestly, why. Even for me, like sometimes I say I wasn't even in the military. Some people say you're military. I'll be like, nah. Like it's not a thing to boast about, really. Like for me, I don't really care about it. I'm sorry. I've served, but it's not something that I would actually brag about it here. Because in America it would be okay because in US you get your discounts, you get all your little benefits here and there. You show your BA card at a restaurant, you get your 15%, 20% discount. Hey, I'm
Right.
I'm fucking Captain America when it comes to that. But here, but here, why would I do that? What for? I don't get any benefits from it. Like I wouldn't get any benefits from it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like not being in the military currently and shaking a stick and all the ladies come running or something, because you're military. Everybody likes a military guy, but for Christ's sake, some of these guys are like 74 trying to wear like a Tom Cruise white t-shirt. And I'm like, ooh, Mufasa, I'm kind of like,
Yeah.
even
It
for
really
me, even
it
I
really
deserve some
doesn't
eye candy.
Yeah, it really doesn't make sense. Like, why would they try? It's not hard to impress. I'm sorry to say for Filipinos, it's not really hard to impress them. I mean, they're impressed by a guy in a trike playing ML, Mobile Legends. So it's not hard to impress them. Just,
Why do you think I got to keep chains on George? He rides out on the e-trike, and I think I'm going to lose him.
Yeah, you better be careful. He's gonna do one of his walks, one of his daily rides. Get some fresh air, get an oil change on an electric bike.
All right, there you go.
I'm gonna go change oil. Oh man, no, but yeah, it doesn't make any sense why these guys would actually do something like that. Like, no,
Yeah.
and no U.S. veteran would be during the war. He always says during the war. Like people, like a veteran would say during Iraq, Afghanistan, not during the war. Like he tries to dramatize it. Or no guy would say, I used to be in the United States Army. No, veterans would be like, I was in the U.S. Army or Army. They wouldn't say it full out in the United States Army. I was an officer and I had the blue cord. Nobody would say that.
Yeah.
The only people that like to embellish that, they're embellishing it, and those are mainly stolen valor guys, and that's how he acts. He might be been in Iraq, he might been in the service, yeah, but the way that he acts is not military like. It's not.
Right. So maybe possibly a short timer or something for a
Oh yeah,
very
he was
short
only
stint.
on a 8-month deployment. That's it.
Some
Like
do get tapped out on what do they call that mental? What do they call them? I'm not very familiar with the term.
PTSD.
yes, he's claiming mental
The
disability or whatever,
DD28 or
but
something.
the guy
Right.
obviously, yeah,
So
the
that
guy
would have to
obviously
be.
doesn't have any.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and by experience
Say that again.
also,
What I was going to say real
Oh.
quick is yes, with as young as he is, if he's on anything, guys got to be careful for that too, because anybody that's on a disability that's dealing with the Section 8, that's what they call DD28 something. But if you're out there on that old Section 8, because you had issues in the military, remember, can't the Philippines pick up on that stuff too? I mean, isn't that like on the medical exams to stay for your visas and all of that? They can throw you out of here for bad mental health, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't pass exams, whether it's mental or not, I mean, we were talking with Mike the other day, MYK, and he was just, I know that is a requirement that if somebody has got that many issues, and, from what I hear and the way he talks, and he admits to the checks he's collecting, that, it's once again, don't put that stuff out there, it's kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
no.
That's pretty true with him. Like with Tim, it's just weird that he says he's a disabled veteran and all this. He's out there lifting bags. You see him lifting heavy weights, going to the gym. Surfing. As I said in my previous live stream, surfing is no joke. It does take a lot of stamina. It does take a lot of thinking. You could get tired doing 5 minutes of surfing. I would get tired. Like, I don't know, my back already hurting, everything, but I don't know how this guy could do it for hours and days. Like, he must be, he might be really fat, but at the same time, he has the stamina.
Right. Which would still take mental stamina. There was another guy, and people probably might know who I'm talking about. Something like that people have to watch for too, because Big Brother can still be watching you when you're collecting certain checks, or some guys are actually. There was one that was here. He was a blind vlogger. Okay.
Oh, that guy,
And
yeah.
and he's over selling his paintings and doing different things, and he's out there like vlogging, and there's nobody by him, and he's walking across bridges by himself, and so then he must be partially blind. But that type of disability that he got early on might even be the one that you're not allowed to leave the United States long term. So his checks are being deposited over there. So he's vlogging all of this. Like he's vlogging it. And then you get the haters and the lovers and all that report you. And people just don't think about the full aspect of putting all that stuff out there. But the guy was the one that needed Crohn's medicine. And this isn't nothing against him. He was allegedly bringing in his medicine by FedEx. It was several $1,000s he was paying for it. But that's also
Jeez.
illegal. You can't bring any medication that requires that kind of on ice that his grandmother was sending every month. He's still here, and I believe he's in Dumageddon. I believe allegedly the guy's in that Dumageddon group, and I'm like,
Oh
yeah, I
man.
wouldn't be over here if my entire life, because he said that it's life threatening if he doesn't get it. And I'm like, yeah, I'd had to pass on
Jesus.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was
Those.
that bad. And I'm like, even if it was a legit disability where he reports it, kind of like mine, I'm allowed to be here. It was an earned disability, but a lot of people don't realize that if you get just the SS, not the SSDI, but the other one, yeah, you can't leave the country more than 30 days. And a lot of them try to maintain the insurance. So I think he was having the insurance pay for it. I said, Big Brother's watching you. The trolls are watching. And he's just going on about it and selling his paintings on Facebook. And I'm like, that kind of shows you're not super blind. I know there can be blind painters, but there was a lot being put out.
A blind painter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, something he had to be only blind like in one eye, but he's not being assisted like
Yeah, that's
you
crazy.
would
A
know
blind
he's
painter.
legit. There was
Pretty good.
something up because it was full paintings. We're not talking about like the basics, no details. And he puts this in his videos. And when he's out vlogging, he does all the walking in
Wow.
dangerous areas by himself. So he can't be fully blind. And if the government thinks he's that, and that's why he's getting the checks, I know there's a percentage rate, but he's beyond that. So he's showing he has the ability. If he'd have hit it in the US, it's sure leaking out all over the place now. So people just don't think about the,
Right. And
one bad girlfriend, they might like drop a dime on you. The girlfriends like to drop dimes here, by the way.
right. Well, and on the painting, just real
Oh
quick
yeah.
for those of you who are enthusiasts, it's not even texture painting, which means a blind guy cannot paint unless there are some blind painters, yes. However, they use texture, which means they can feel the coarseness of the paint. No, this is more like
full
watercolors.
detail. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Full
it's impossible.
details. And he was specifically doing items that he would have need both eyes and full, to know what he was. There would have been nobody saying, okay, move it to the left, move it to the. No, these are fine details in the paintings. And I'm like, oh man, dude. So it's just like, all over like $10 a month worth of YouTube money. It's like
in vlogs, he goes up and down hills and stuff like that.
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah. On
With
steps.
and we're not talking about
unassisted.
we're not talking about like the girlfriend placed him out on the bridge. No, he's walking through
these
the
footpaths.
Tarsier monkey area, and he's out there by himself. So she just didn't place him, and she was recording him from a distance. No, he's doing the vlogging and the walking, and I'm like, okay.
But I'm sure. How long has he been vlogging?
For a little bit. When he got here, I think he was previously vlogging, and then I don't know, 6 months. I haven't checked him in the last few months, but yeah.
He could be a blind masseuse in the mall.
He was on one of the big vlogger. He was one of the bigger vloggers interviews. That much I know.
Yeah.
That's how we kind of discovered him. He was on Facebook doing this, and I think it was either Old Dog or Everyman had him on. So yep.
That's crazy. Who you were talking about? It doesn't like it was something like some partial. Yeah, okay, now I understand now. Yeah, I used to be questioning, and I wanted to make a video about it, but I kind of didn't want to fall for it. So what if I eat crow?
Well, not to mention
the sensitivity factor.
Whether you're right or wrong about it, you'll be targeted as somebody who targets that type of.
Yeah, we had to get off of the Campbell thing because then people felt like we were just picking on a disabled person. So it was kind of like we had to watch how far we go into things. Like right now, we're kind of on that verge of, we're covering this Mark thing and we didn't want to go that far too long. But then, Andy had the photo, and I'll get his link in the description and everything. But it was... we had to get off of that subject of the Campbells, and and just
Yeah.
the way it was.
Matrix says, "Can I borrow Andy's Captain America suit once I start hanging out in Walking Street to try to impress some ladies?"
George has got one. You can just drop here and get it off of George's cat lady.
No,
Actually, I have the mask,
I'll be
the
a
helmet, and the shield.
for me.
Yeah.
I'll be an overweight Captain America for sure. For me, uh,
You
I'll
know,
get an
like
extra
that,
large.
that's probably why you keep that around now. George used to dress up as Captain America and superheroes, and he used to go to the hospitals and hand out candy and do all that stuff. And it was like he was like you were like kryptonite to the single ladies with kids and all that, and you attracted every woman in the supermarket and all that. And I'm like, you do realize that that doesn't work on me.
All I need is my e-bike. I'm good.
You're what?
My e-bike, I'm good.
Yeah, I like you because of the e-bike. So, but but no, he used to do that, and like 100 ladies come running and stuff. And George attracted every single mother that there was in Florida. Man, ain't even kidding about that. So George's the lady man.
Oh wow.
He was like that. Didn't they have one of those guys on Saturday Night Live? He was called the Ladies Man. What is that guy?
I'm the ladies' man, Lamar.
Yeah, that was George.
The
You know,
ladies' man.
the guy on Saturday Night Live. He's
Lamar.
like the Ladies Man.
Yeah.
This one, 2 pieces of drill, little bit, and then 2 pieces.
Yeah, I think we're getting pretty close to wrapping this up. All right, Andy, I think we're going to just say our goodbyes to everybody, and you are more than welcome.
Thank you so much for being with us, Andy. We really love you here
Yeah, for sure.
today. Thank you so much, man.
And feel free to any of our clips, man, ever. So verbally giving you permission. So
Yeah, definitely. I've got to head out because I'm actually been doing errands here and there. Yeah,
okay.
doing
Well,
stuff. So
I'm glad we got a chance to. I figured that's why there was something between. I don't think it was George. It was me, and I figured it was linking back to Lut because that's about when it started. But I appreciate you being here, and just let us know if you need something. We mean it. All right. See you
yeah,
later,
appreciate it.
Andy.
Thanks,
Bye,
Andy.
bye,
Appreciate
Andy.
you.
Take care. All right, members. It looks like it's time for me. I'll probably end up getting some TVP.
Yeah, thank you so much, Manny,
Oh,
for giving out
Scott.
membership, and thank you so much, Scott, for supporting us. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you guys for actually being here. There was
Thanks
a
so
lot of
much,
people
Ted.
in
Ted
here
was with us today. Sarah, Victoria, Tim Husk, Bruce Davis. Actually, we have a new member. I believe it's
There's a few members.
Bill
that
I.
Yes,
Bill
guys.
I, new member.
Yes.
Manny C was with us. He gave away memberships.
Thank you, Manny.
Thank you, Manny.
Sarah was in here. I see Pee Wee Barnes was in here.
Yeah,
so
Pee
we
Wee
kind of
Barnes.
missed
Joseph
a few
Relaford.
people. Yeah, you're not going to be able to go through everybody today, unfortunately, with this being a bigger live stream.
Oh,
so
Big
we
Dave
are.
says, "Peace."
We are on a regular day. You guys probably won't see us till Tuesday, which is Philippine time. We might stick to this later process. We seem to be doing good at this time frame, but we will see you guys on Tuesday, Philippine
Oh,
time.
yes, Mark Goldberg was with us.
Yes. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't, and do a thumbs up, do a thumbs down, guys. We know we get both, and we definitely appreciate you guys being here. And I'm going to take George out to Jollibee today.
All right. Thank you, guys. Love
Thank
you
you,
all.
guys. God bless,
Appreciate
and thank you
you.
for the great
Have
live
a
stream,
wonderful
guys.
wonderful evening or afternoon, depending where you're at.
Just do
Just do it. What? This is Nike.
it. I'll do Nike.
All right. Bye, guys.
Who's Nike?
Right.
Bye, guys.